The title of this manga is Mutual Love. The story begins as a loud crash could be heard in the school hallway. Tanaka once again bumped into a fellow female classmate. He got scolded for bumping onto her too much at school, questioning if he has a crush on her. He tries brushing this off, as Inu hurriedly bid farewell, asking to see each other again later. Tanaka is left alone and seems to picked up a strand of hair from Inu earlier. He put this in his pockets and decides to leave home. Later that night back at home, Tanaka all along was collecting her hair strands for his collections. He seemingly has an obsession of love towards her. We then revealed that Inu is watching him inside his room. As she also is an obsessive and yandere person that loves Tanaka so much that she has his face plastered all over her walls, she eagerly awaits what's the next thing she would take from her. As Tanaka was admiring Inu and her face in posters plastered all over the walls, his little sister seemingly barged in unnoticed. This made him immediately panic all of a sudden, which his little sister calls him out for being gross doing so. Tanaka exclaims that she should properly knock before entering, but hearing this she immediately claims herself that he should be grateful that his adorable little sister went to his older brother's dirty room after going home, and he shouldn't have an attitude from him. It seems all she wants is a warm hug with a welcome home gesture from him. This left Tanaka no choice but to spoil his little sister, showcasing their sibling love to one another. Even though she talks bad towards him in a sarcastic way, she noticed the stuffed toy which Tanaka is keeping as it came from a gift from his crush. The little sister asks they should throw it away as it's gross and doesn't suit him. Upon showing her anger, she insists on throwing this away as her older brother doesn't need this stuff. Hearing Maid Inu darkened her eyes upon listening to their conversation, Tanaka immediately a horrid and unpleasant face exclaiming it's important to him. This made his little sister cry, poking his eyes and calling him a dummy. For Inu her vision of Tanaka became like a shining armor. With pretty eyes she immediately became excited hearing him defend her gift. She then glamorized of the thought that it's important for him, and she really is glad he gave it to him. We flash back to the time when the present was given. In class, as she was giving out gifts, she then had the idea of bumping into Tanaka head-on. Like a tsundere, she asks if he would be delighted to receive some gifts, which he immediately got excited wanting to accept anything she have. Upon revealing the gift of a teddy bear, Tanaka questioned if it's alright to receive this as it seems precious to her, but Inu only asks with a pleasant and warming voice that he takes good care of it. Embarrassed by this, Tanaka couldn't believe her words, making both of them blush. As he shortly left, Inu's classmates questioned what she wanted the most. Although she didn't answer properly and wanted to keep it hidden, she deviously wanted the most was gifting Tanaka a surveillance camera on the teddy bear she gave to spy on him. We then transitioned to a woman standing over the edge of a bridge, remembering the hurtful words and the amount of times that she was pushed away, and the agonizing pain of being rejected. Being left by her lover, tired and full of regrets, she wanted to finish it all as she cries heavily. Tanaka, on the other hand, was walking along the bridge when he noticed a woman over the edge ready to jump. Without hesitation, he grabbed onto the woman clinging onto the rails. Both became surprised by one another, but shockingly fortunate the bridge wasn't high enough and the water wasn't deep enough. Thus they both came out unscathed, but although drenched. Tanaka immediately questioned the woman if she was alright and what she was doing was dangerous. He asks that she shouldn't take her life that easily. Upon being relieved, he suddenly catch a cold. Thus the woman insists going to her nearby house to dry, ultimately dragging him along. Tanaka followed along, which he suddenly noticed the amazing apartment. The woman revealed it's her dad's building and it's too much for two-person. As she welcomed him in, he suddenly became surprised over the extravagant place. Even as he entered the bathroom, all he could ponder was that this older sister he saved was too rich. Shortly after, he was welcome, being served with the finest food she could ever. Exclaiming it's not enough as he saved her life after all. With stunning eyes, all she could ever ask was that he won't be shy as she loves entertaining her guests. Hearing this made Tanaka to dig in for the food she served, even getting complimented for being too kind. This made her blush, asking not to tease the older people. Although Tanaka didn't mean to, he seems to not notice his quick, pleasing personality towards women. He suddenly got a notification sound from his phone indicating his little sister was trying to look for him. As he thanked for everything and being welcomed, he then had the idea of leaving her, as he doesn't know what's going on that much but asks that she doesn't let it get to her. Tanaka left him messaging app number, asking her to reach out as he would listen to her problems. She became grateful, being grateful for the kind gesture. Which after leaving shortly, all she could think of was about Tanaka and wanted to be near him every single day. It's then revealed with dark and obsessive eyes she wanted to lock him up. With a firm decision, she decided to plan in doing so, as she is confident Tanaka also wanted to be near each other forever. Later that night, as Tanaka arrives home, his little sister suddenly rushed towards him, causing them to crash outside. As she calls him out for being an idiot, she questioned where he has been as it's already late enough, and was worried. But upon sniffing his clothes, she immediately started panicking as she could smell something different. With dreadful eyes she exclaims with anger that his clothes smells weird, indicating that he must be playing around with other women. Tanaka asks if he could explain, but his little sister disregards this and hurriedly dashes to grab something. She shortly came back with new clean clothes, asking that he should march straight to the bathroom. It seems he has his clothes washed with some other detergents, asking he should not dare do that again. In the bathroom, little sister Yua insists on coming with him, showing her brotherly love. She insists that his brother won't have any objections, as she insists on helping him wash away his stupid smell. She also revealed going in with a swimsuit. In the bathroom, Tanaka is forced to be washed by his little sister. As he asks her to go away, she held on tightly, squeezing him. She then questioned him if he got himself a girlfriend. Tanaka questioned her on what made her think that way. It's also revealed she was listening to his heartbeat, which didn't spike, indicating he was telling the truth. She then exclaims of trusting him this time, but in exchange she would hang out in his room tonight. Tanaka agrees and asks that she go already, but upon pushing her, a knife suddenly dropped from behind them. Seeing this made him jump out of fear, all of a sudden questioning why is it in the bathroom. Yua claims of bringing it along just in case she found out he has a girlfriend, although it seems he doesn't have one, claiming he won't be chasing girls behind her back anyways, as he already have such an adorable sister. After all, Tanaka was left all alone in the bathroom to ponder what she was on about. But shortly after, in his room, he explained the whole situation to her, and in Yua, as they both listened, and all could ever think about was trying to end the life of the woman who approached him. Which then the older one, San, reached out to Tanaka that night, starting their love triangle towards him. The next day, Yua is angry by the fact that his brother Tanaka forgot his lunch, and was forced to bring it to him in his school. As she gazed into the classroom, his friends was with him trying to imitate anime punches and doing boys stuff. Yua questioned their actions but is troubled as she can't seem to barge in and say something, pondering to immediately be noticed by her older brother, as she is only tough at home. She suddenly got startled as Anu approached quietly, questioning what's a first year like her doing up here. But upon observing her, she immediately understood that she was a relative looking for Tanaka. Upon knowing so, she insists on calling him for her. As she called his name, he immediately became quick to notice her, spinning his head wildly towards her direction and rushing in towards them. As he was given his bento, Inu bids farewell as her job is done. Yua could only ponder how beautiful and how good she smells. But she then noticed a small bear toy on her phone, questioning as this is the same toy on her brother's room. She seemingly found this fishy, questioning her name, but brushes it off as Tanaka head pats her aggressively, showcasing their sister and brother shenanigans. But from behind, Inu looms with dark eyes as the story continues.
The title of this manga is Shiragasane. The story starts off where a man could be seen exhausted, pondering what is drawing him to this place. It seems 10 years ago he ended up moving away from the countryside. where he lived with his parents for a while and was taken by his uncle who lived in the city. It seems one day out of the blue he just lost it and suddenly started fearing coming near his own house. He was crying and trembling with fear, wanting to get away from his own house. It seems he doesn't have a clear memory of that day, but no matter what, he doesn't seem to be able to remember anything, almost as if his mind was trying to block the memory on that fateful day. In his rationale thinking, if he had forgotten something he should try to remember it at least. He admittedly had this feelings of dread at the back of his mind, but found himself asking the same question over and over again. As he arrived back at his old home, he questioned what had happened here 10 years ago. Upon ringing the doorbell, he greeted his mother as it has been a while. Despite seeing him after 10 years since he moved out, she worries about him coming here all of a sudden. He explains having something he wanted to take care of, but his mother is nervous, wondering if he's alright, as he said that he was so scared he would never come here again, and after all this time he had just done that. It seems he came here relating to that, and have a favor to ask Dad and her. Upon having a sit down, his parents is eager to listen and hear the truth on coming him to take care of something. He tells them it's nothing major and pointed towards the storehouse behind their place, wanting to borrow it for a little bit. His father is not one to be stingy in giving the key, but wonders what does he wants to go in there for. It seems he wanted to confirm something for himself. He ponders if it's just a mistake on his part, then he would feel fine with it. But he just wanted to get rid of the nagging feeling he has, and wanted to go in and look inside, and if nothing happens he would move on, and once he does that then a peace of mind would be to settle. As he nears the door his head seems to hurt and feels like it's splitting in two. He sweats nervously, questioning what had happened here 10 years ago. Upon stepping foot inside, he shine a light filling in the dark warehouse. As he headed inside he described it being dark, moist and misty odor. Just like the untouched insides of your mother, unlike the outside where it's hot and could pass out, inside this place is eerily cold. But then again he doesn't find this strange, as more storehouses are like this. It seems his head started hurting really bad, wondering if something happened here 10 years ago to him. It seems it's pretty dirty inside, as he might have been the first person to enter this place since that day 10 years ago. He also seemed to picked up a wooden doll. Nothing important, he brushes this off, as ever since that day 10 years ago his parents were probably avoiding this place. However, there wasn't anything scary in this place, as it's just some old books and cupboards. There also wasn't anything that he saw made him feel fear at the back of his mind. He wonders if his past event was just nothing, wondering what he is so afraid of. A sudden creak of the door closing could be heard, causing him to be startled. He shouted who was with him inside the darkness. He ponders if it's his parents, but if either of them came they would have called out to him, as he assures as nobody else would come here. He got scared all of a sudden as a woman creature with wings greets him a welcome, questioning what would he like to play. He suddenly shouted but was instantly asked to keep his voice down using her powers, causing his voice to not be let out. It seems she was waiting for him to come back, and is happy that they are able to meet again. She has been waiting for so long to play with him and could barely stand waiting. She also claims of not being able to play with anyone but him. Eager to play, she wanted to see how he is as an adult. She then exclaims of playing an adult game. She finds him cute when afraid, but wanted to see his wonderfully innocent smile as well. As she uses her hands to get inside his mouth, she wanted to see his exuberant side and gratified side, as well as she explains her body is eager, waiting for so long it started writing in agony. She also touched his sword, wanting him to also make it stand up, and wonders what would happen if she put it between her marshmallows. As she slowly squished in against his marshmallows, it blew the babies away, and made him lose consciousness, and loses his mind inside as the cicada creature woman claims to play together forever and ever. As she expresses her happiness, he suddenly mentioned that he ran away from her afraid 10 years ago. As he cries in despair, he had gotten away from here so he would never see her again. It seems he regrets his choice of coming back here. The creature woman suddenly mentioned if he was mistaken of it being 10 years ago. It seems it's today that it occurred, and he was misremembering things. As he held him tightly, he became confused hearing her words. She explains all this time he has not separated from her at all and have enjoyed each other's company this entire time, playing happily together for all eternity. She doesn't need a time when they are not together. She is obsessive and do not want part of it and have no need for it whatsoever. Pushing the idea that it's the same for him also. Hearing this made him scream and run in a panic. In his thoughts all he could ponder was needing to get away from far away and to hurry up in escaping being her captive. He is eager to not ever go near this storehouse again. He ran all with his might, screaming at the top of his lungs. But we then transition to him being his adult self and making his head hurt, splitting into two. A hand suddenly reached out from the darkness, welcoming him back. It seems he vividly remembers the past events that occurred in this storehouse, even the words in his head calling out a monster. We suddenly transition to him outside, breathing heavily, wondering if this was all a dream as he experiences another throbbing headache. It seems he is on a repeat of some sort where the creature monster tamper with his memories. And the time inside the storehouse is different than the outside, as he repeat the cycle of coming back to his parents' house, as the unexplained still lingers. All he know was that it was a terrifying event for him. It seems what he encountered those many years ago still remains, waiting for him, not remembering much of the specifics as the memory is closed off, forming a lid that has been shut. He didn't came back just to flee from whatever horror lies here. Sweat soaks him heavily as his heart beats like thunder and a pulsing pain stabs his eye and legs threaten to freeze in place. But curiosity got the best of him due to the cause of this fear on what he encountered 10 years ago. Only after he learned what it was then he would be able to leave it behind. As he again entered the storehouse with a flashlight, it seems the air is suffocating. Upon finding nothing, he ponders if it's just his imagination, but he then noticed a wooden doll. He questioned what it's doing here, as he doesn't remember ever storing this away, yet he finds something familiar about this. A large figure suddenly creeped up behind him, welcoming him back again. She exclaims of being glad to see him again, wondering if he was waiting for her as well. As soon as he shouted in fear, he was immediately quiet, using her unexplained powers. She eagerly wanted to have fun and to have lots of playtime together. He became confused, wondering if he's someone special to her as he doesn't understand. It seems he finally put two and two together and finally got his memories back together again. Hearing this made her delighted. This storehouse was where it all happened, being caught like this, many times, and now that he has been caught, it seems he has gone back to the moment 10 years ago, causing him to be terrified and wants to escape. The woman creature claims he won't escape her again, as she hugs him tightly, complimenting that he makes such a lovely partner. Slowly caressing him and inserting her hands inside him, it seems she finds him adorable and shall pamper as much as she possibly can. As she slowly pampers her, she seems to caught on his sword rising. She eagerly did her best doing the deed and causing him to release lots of babies. Being in the palm of her hands, he is left no choice but to sit still and be held captive against his will. As the creature woman caress and asks him to play adults again, she seems to see him as a couple, and for a long time she would like to happily get to know each other. After this, it seems he did the same as always during these cycles. It seems he chose to act the same, as there was nothing he could have done inside the warehouse. As he was crying, a voice could be heard asking him to come back. He seems to hear a voice of familiarity, as it was his mother. It seems he remembered late coming after playing for so long, which resulted his mother to come looking for him. As his mother near the entrance of the storehouse, his hopelessness seems to vanish, seeing hope. As his mother entered and was talking to him, questioning what he was doing in a place like this, she is horrified to see a creature of unknown. The woman creature suddenly became possessive, claiming that again she was interfering, indicating that this isn't their first encounter, as his mother shouts at her to release her son. She suddenly screams in pain and agony, collapsing from the sudden pain. Seeing this made him jumped up. The woman creature questioned if he will leave her, as she waited for him for a long time. Horrified, he let go of her hands, asking to get away from him. As he runs away, he eagerly awaits escaping and fleeing with his mother from the horrible place and to never come back. This left the creature woman to cry and be in tears. Upon going outside, she claims as they will once again meet. Leaving him to tend to his mother, questioning the situation. Again he reverted back to the time in the future where every time he tries to remember, a piercing pain stabs his head, as he tries questioning his sanity and the situation. The door opened once again, welcoming him back. We then transition to the MC trying to call out for help, clawing his way out, asking the door. He shouts his frustration, wanting to keep moving forward, as he already suffered year after year, asking to forgive him for whatever sin he ever did. A hand suddenly reached out, claiming they haven't even begun the fun yet. As he tries to turn around, he is once again back at the entrance, wondering if he once again imagined this, as he was about to once again enter the warehouse, claiming having nightmares like fears, as if he was trapped in an endless cycle. Upon entering, he suddenly reverted back to being a kid, but add to this his mother was in pain. Upon rushing to her aid and trying to see her condition, his mother suddenly started throwing up blood. He suddenly became horrified, but the entire time he was holding a key. Still once again back to the outside of the storehouse. It seems this is the finale, but upon waking up it seems all this time he was still trapped by the creature woman. He cried and cried. It seems the creature claims to be his wife now, and with obsessive eyes she asks that they should be happy together, as they have done the deed once again. It seems he was trapped on a never-ending nightmare with her. But this time he suddenly woke up from a nightmare screaming. All of these scenes were supposedly nightmares. Upon snoozing the time, he was heading back to the countryside, putting us on the beginning. It seems he tries recollecting his thoughts before heading back. It seems he wanted to put a stop to the nightmares and the never-ending horrible cycle. As he stood once again to the door of the storehouse, he is confident he would put a stop to this and wants to keep moving forward. We suddenly get a glimpse inside. As the creature woman claims of getting impatient, making her mad, it seems she claims the true end is just a little while away. As she vents her frustration, a voice could be heard calling her out to be her mother, being a worrywart. It seems inside the storehouse space she gave birth to their child, where she claims that their father would bring lots of happiness for them, claiming him to be his father after all. We then transition to the MC apologizing to the manager, wanting to take the whole week off next week. It seems he was working at a convenience store for part-time. His company workers talked badly about him, calling him a total freak and a big introvert. As he once again headed to his old house once again, he was greeted by his mother, seeing him to be such a surprised, as he once again was lent the key to the shed in the back. He entered once again, describing the same thoughts previously, but this time he found the dirty doll again. As the door shuts closed behind him, he was welcomed again by the creature woman, expressing her happiness. It seems she was clearly non-human. It seems 10 years has passed, but despite that she still looked forward to this moment, doing her best and waiting for him to come back. A child of the non-human creature suddenly pops up, waiting for his arrival, and being happy seeing his actual father. Being overjoyed, waiting for him forever, he asks that they should stop messing with him, as he called them monsters and not having a child like her. Hearing this made his child to use her powers to strangle him, calling him out for being mean. As the non-human creature mother comfort their child, she explained that her father was confused, not remembering anything. As she assures the situation, they both eagerly asks that they should have some family fun. This made his body suddenly got hot. As they take off his clothes, they suddenly ravaged his body, causing him to be dizzy and fuzzy. Not being able to be moved, they went ahead and did the deed as their child watched. Their child find his face to be cute. It seems he finally remembered what had happened 10 years ago, resulting in him being assaulted here, time and time again, and this resulted to her giving birth to their daughter. Their child suddenly exclaims of being envy of her mother, wanting his baby seeds too. The mother agrees to let her daughter do it also, causing him to be in fear. As she poses her daughter for their first time, the MC asks to stop the madness, as he can't control his body and doesn't want to do any of this. As his body moves on its own, he entered his sword on the hole. As the rest continues, the non-human creature could only exclaims its happiness, always adoring and loving the MC. Being ecstatic of their fun time, it seems both of them finds this to not be enough at all, waiting to play more. Later on he questioned why did this madness happen to him, begging to be released and set free. The MC's non-human wife questioned the sad look on his face. Even though he got totally satisfied, the MC explains that he would have to relive these past 10 years and to keep suffering again and again, forever, always going back around and around. His child suddenly spoke up he would be fine and shouldn't worry, as they would be here for him. Upon asking what do they mean by this, they then reveal somebody would take his place. Behind him a doll-like creature stood up, exactly looking like him. It seems his non-human wife made this doll out of a cocoon, so they could raise their child. It seems they made a replacement so the real him won't ever need to go outside again, and they won't be bothered by anyone ever again, claiming they can stay here forever. Hearing this made the MC filled with anxiety and fear, trying to reach out and asks that it shouldn't go off, as if it went outside his life will be over. The MC's non-human wife claims that this is the beginning of the happy time they will spend as a family. His child also claims they would be taking lots of his baby seeds, wanting to work hard. It seems he can't stop the madness to unfold, crying and begging them to stop, as he just wanted to move forward. As the doll creature like him steps out, his mother questioned his mimic as they were worried. This mimic acted like him, and claiming to not be scared of the shed anymore. Upon locking the door, he claims it's okay now as he became a proper adult, handing over the key being done with what he needed to finish, as he will be moving forward. This left the real MC to be trapped in a never-ending cycle of madness forever put against his will, thus ending out story. The story might be confusing but is definitely an interesting read. The story begins as everyone has a past they wanted to hide. It seems this person has already taken care of all the bad people after Aoi-kun, as he was held against his will. Miyako claims that he only belongs to her, which for him this was like a nightmarish past he doesn't want to remember. As the investigators questioned Aoi-kun, it seems they were handling a case where more than 10 separate classes each involving different stalkers. It seems they haven't heard such an absurd thing like this. The investigators suggest in all honesty that a change in environment would be in best interest for her son. At class, Aoi-kun's classmate gossiped about him not being the talkative type. It seems even after moving for a whole week he hasn't said anything and they label him like a ghost, pointing out his soul and body is already dead. Aoi-kun finds this annoying as he ponders his classmate not knowing anything about his circumstances, as no one would believe anything he would explain. As he was lost in thought, his classmates suddenly brought up a lady that moved next door, which was smoking hot. This piqued Aoi-kun's interest, especially the part they talked about her arms having bandaged up. He tries to deny this but remembers the past as the same woman who was covered in bandages in her arms approaches Aoi-kun. She exclaims of the police not being able to help him, as the ones pursuing him all this time aren't human, but she assures him that even if they resembles creatures from fantasy she would take care of them for him. Her figure was full blood and has an aura of an obsessive person. We then transition back to where Aoi-kun is called out by a classmate. This suddenly startled him, screaming and falling off his chair. The two stood still, confused and full of embarrassment for the sudden spook. Later on they headed to a convenience store, where Ueda forgives Aoi-kun for overreacting like that as they are friends anyway. He points out that anyone would jump back if they were suddenly touched on the shoulder. He claims that Ueda doesn't need to associate herself with him, but hearing this made Ueda worried, wondering if she can't be concerned about him. This left him no choice but to agree, and was suddenly talked about the stalker that he mentioned before, which Ueda points out that it might be related to the rumors that's been going around. It seems what the boys was talking about a certain woman earlier. It seems she is being brought up in other classes too. It seems they find her to be beautiful, but it seems like she's been talking to everyone she meets. It's also known that she was asking about a certain male student that moved into town recently, which pointed towards him as it can only be him that fits the description. Hearing this made Aoi-kun to be surprised and spooked a little. He then whispers under his breath the name Miyako. He felt anxious as it seems she came after him. Which he then suddenly got interrupted by Ueda claiming of doing something about it for him. She insists on helping him out due to them being friends after leaving the bench. It seems Miyako was following behind their tracks. We then transition to Aoi-kun being led to an abandoned school building. Learning this a place a while ago, it seems no one comes here anymore. Upon entering the place, it seems she likes quiet places like this, and claims it's perfect for what she have planned as it's just a little further. Aoi-kun suddenly asks that they should head back, even though he doesn't know what she's planning doing. He doesn't want to put her in any more danger. As he tries explaining about Miyako, Ueda all along seems to know his circumstances, which she explains on why she brought him here, as the woman named Miyako would just get in her way, as she's been guarding and watching over him far longer than she has for so many years. As she slowly reveals herself, she then asks Aoi-kun to look at her possessive eyes, asking them to become one and not run. As she held his face, she then reveals her true form of a giant centipede, questioning if he was more excited seeing her true self. Aoi-kun suddenly remembered Miyako's words as they are not human, and denies reality in front of him as it's definitely a bad dream and otherwise he would perish. As he is about to face the monster in front, a voice could be heard saying, "I found you." Miyako suddenly intervenes, striking Ueda in her monster form, talking down as they are pest. As she struck her, she doesn't want the insect to run away from her, and won't let her go that easily, since she gave her beloved Aoi-kun a scar. With her obsessive personality, she then put judgment towards the insect, exclaiming it deserve a painful death. As the insect got away, Miyako gazed upon Aoi-kun in silence, which shortly after Aoi-kun asks that she stays away from him. Miyako looks down bad, ready to devour Aoi-kun, as it's been such a long time since they could meet again. Exclaiming she's beyond ecstatic right now, he questioned why is Miyako here, where she pointed out the obvious, as she claims Aoi-kun is only for her, and is her responsibility to take care of him. It doesn't matter if they're inhuman monsters. Hearing this made him confused, where Miyako pointed out how often they have been watching him. Outside, the inhuman monsters were stalkers following him all this time. For a long time people usually call them yokai or specters, but for her it doesn't make any difference, as she would get rid of them and or anyone that's an obstacle to her love for Aoi-kun. She then claims that she could protect him, but she asks if he would choose that woman or Miyako. On which of them would he rather have survive? Hearing this made Aoi-kun to question if he is being threatened, that if he wants to live, he would have no choice but to accept the lunatic Miyako and her obsessive yandere characteristic. It seems he is clear that no one would want to die. In situation like this he could only cry and plead to be saved, as he doesn't want to die. Hearing this made Miyako to give him a pleasant kiss. As they finished mouth to mouth, her eyes became scary and overly obsessive, which suddenly became downright bad, asking that Aoi-kun shouldn't make such tempting face. She apologizes for teasing him and to not be worried, as right now she's right beside to protect him. Seeing her wonderful figure hold the yokai insect easily made him question what she really is. She then devoured the yokai monster, upon turning into a ravaging monster, introducing herself as the escorting wolf. Seeing the events unfold in front of him gave him quite a shock, as Miyako announces his safety as it's over now. It seems he didn't took this lightly. He could only stay silent and crouched down, as the monster laid upon defeated against the wall. Miyako questioned if Aoi-kun is alright being with a lunatic like her. Hearing this also made Aoi-kun to ask himself if he's really okay with this. Although the answer seems obvious enough, as it's better than dying, Miyako could only act like a thirsty yandere, as she can't help but love him so much, as she would do anything for him, and wants to be with him more. Hearing this made Aoi-kun to put up with her for now. Miyako suddenly clung onto him with a smile, startling him even more. Even though he asks that she should get off, she just couldn't do so, as she is so happy, but the main reason is he would be in danger again. She then asks if he could see them behind her, to which he suddenly gazed upon the multiple yokai monsters gazing upon him. Miyako wonders if Aoi-kun only ponder about one yokai having their eyes on him, but to his nightmare there would be more coming after him. Miyako assures it would be alright, as she would be always with him from now on, but Aoi-kun could only ponder this, denying reality, as it was all just a nightmare. With a wonderful experience, as she hugged him tightly, she ponders it like she's dreaming. Later, as Aoi-kun supposedly is having a nightmare again, where Miyako is closing up ready to eat her up, he then woke up to have her stand on top of him bidding good morning. He ponders if he was still dreaming, as Miyako, with obsessive eyes, exclaims if he's still tired he could go back to sleep, as she clung onto him. As he finally wake up with his senses, it seems she already gave him a heads up before of staying right by his side. She also went ahead and borrowed his clothes, where he finds the scent to be pleasing. Aoi-kun could only ponder how did she manage to get it and how long she has been here. Miyako could only question his mother, insisting she must give her greetings later, even as far in making breakfast. But Aoi-kun could only try to get away and escape, but is stopped by her words, warning him as he would be taken away, as a monster hand reaches out to his shoulder, scaring him. It seems this yokai has been there for a while, although she already got this covered. As she eliminate and snap the yokai's fingers, she threatened to slaughter it if they keep on bothering them. The insect shortly ran off, where Aoi-kun is scared for his life as this nightmare reality is happening. As they shortly ate breakfast, Aoi-kun is not surprised anymore, as it's a bad dream come true. Although he was fed by the loving yandere Miyako, he still doesn't take her loving gesture kindly and refuses it, even though Miyako would be making his meals and would cook anything he desires if he tells her so. As Aoi-kun eats, he could only ponder about her not eating if it's due to the reason she was an escorting wolf. He then demands that if Miyako wants his trust, she should tell everything, especially the reason why those monster yokai wants to eat him in the first place. She briefly explains that people consider them to be spirits or even then urban legends at this point, but all that they are aware is they are merely remnants of what they were once of. She actually thought he might know something about his origins. Hearing this made him lost his appetite, exclaiming he doesn't know anything. She then suddenly grabbed hold onto him with dreadful and scary eyes. She confronts Aoi-kun if he was hiding something. He suddenly remembered a recollection when his father was giving him a beating, calling him out for being a thief when he was a kid. This immediately made him trauma-triggered, grabbing a pair of chopsticks and pinning Misako down. With scary eyes he gazed at her, asking to not pry into his private life. As if she keeps asking, he would do something she doesn't want. Even though she doesn't take him serious, she could only ask that her death will be remembered as long as it also makes him feel better. As the trauma he carry with him for the rest of his life. 'Cause if it's for him, she would do anything to make it happen. He stood in silence, ready to go down on her with chopsticks as Miyako held him tightly. She comforts Aoi-kun, explaining even if he has an unspeakable past, she would never scorn or reject him, as she could never come to hate him for it. With loving eyes she only asks that she would always be with him, hugging him tightly as he tries to overcome his trauma. Upon arriving in school, he asks that she shouldn't follow him anymore. As he gazed upon her, he asks that she shouldn't try to test him again, as she is still just a stalker to him, asking that she shouldn't get the wrong idea. Miyako, being crazy as she is, could only understand him, but if something were to happen she would come to his aid and protect him, which she pointed out it would be okay for her to be by his side. Aoi-kun shortly left, not having any comments about her words. As she bids her farewell and a safe trip, left alone she slowly drips water, but it's then revealed it was her saliva that's dripping down. Like a rabid dog she became crazy all of a sudden, as it was so tempting to eat him up even when he gets angry.
Jesus Christ!
She eagerly wanted to have him for herself. She suddenly smells another one of her kin inside the school. It seems another entity is awaiting on the school classrooms. Where the August 9 approaches, where things has become noisy. As Miyako could only look from outside the gate, she ponders whereas the other one could be hiding inside the school. With crazy and locked-in eyes she ponders with cravings of finding her. As Aoi-kun enters the classroom, gossip could be heard as Ueda is off today and is heard to be transferring schools all of a sudden. They doesn't know about the details either, but her whole family just up and left gone. They only pointed out that Aoi-kun would know about the reasoning as he was with her today. But they were hesitant to approach and find answer for themselves. It seems they rather not, as he was labeled creepy. Hearing this made him gloomy and to find it annoying as they talk a lot, despite not knowing the truth. Even if they did well they wouldn't believe it otherwise. He ponders if Miyako was here. Hearing this, what would she do to them talking bad about him? He then had the idea that she would slaughter everyone and asks him to praise her for it with a smile. It seems this would likely happen. But then again he claims it's a stupid idea. A sudden commotion could be heard outside the school gate where a bunch of people gather. Upon looking outside he was shocked to find out. As he hurriedly went down to the school gates, all he could ponder, why is she being gathered around? Upon arriving, she is seen with dreadful eyes. Where she greeted Aoi-kun pleasantly, exclaiming of looking for something. He ponders what she is planning to do, as he doesn't want to get involved but can't leave her alone. A sudden statement suddenly puzzled everyone, suggesting that it must be his stalker. It seems Ueda-san talked about this before, where they pointed out she was the reason Ueda-san transferred. Even though they ponder why he was staying quiet, it seems it also happened in his previous school. He finally understood the situation as rumors is now circling around Miyako. He then realized that if he confirmed the rumors they would view him better. It seems all he has to say is he is in the same boat as Ueda, and was afraid to speak up about it, finding this to be a good reason enough. Even though he really can't stand his classmate, he still is a victim of the situation and want her to say something. But Miyako already got first about it, confessing that she did got rid of Ueda herself. Left confused, Aoi-kun can't say anything else. It seems Miyako is suddenly labeled a dangerous person. It seems they all decided to throw stuff at her and make a mockery with dreadful looks. Aoi-kun questioned the situation as these guys are going too far with their actions towards her. Even though Miyako is the weird one revealing herself to be the culprit, and things would turn out like this, even though it only make her look bad, He questioned why are they going far like this towards her, as they ridicule and talk bad about her. She exclaims of honestly not caring about their opinion, as she doesn't have a single regret of throwing it all away, her position and everything. 'Cause at this point nothing else matter as long as she could be with the person she loves. Hearing this made Aoi-kun to realize her true determination and be love-struck, I supposed. Hearing this made his classmates to be confused. Despite this, they still continued to harass and throw stuff at her. But Aoi-kun suddenly intervenes, shielding her and being hit with a rock. Miyako is surprised seeing him stand bravely. Seeing him stood between the stalker, they questioned his actions, where he confronts that his classmates would not understand anything, calling them dumb. As he was about to get attacked, Miyako suddenly grabs hold of him, pulling him away to safety. As Miyako tended to his wounds far away from the commotion, he questioned her purpose on coming to school, where she reveals the creature she chased off this morning crawled all the way in the morning here. It seems it blended with the other students. Despite this, she already remembered her face and would deal with her right away. Aoi-kun's only concern is that he won't be able to go to school anymore. But Miyako sees this positively, as they would be together even more. As she clung onto him, she finds him to be really cool and has fallen in love with him again. It seems he tossed everything aside. Aoi-kun would never normally say that, even his own mother has never said that for him. As Miyako ponders why did he say that towards her, this made her to be riled up and ecstatic, making her to be down bad thirsty. But a sudden figure from behind watches them. Back at home, Aoi-kun doesn't want to let Miyako in despite introducing herself, and it seems he is pissed off about her barging in. He then reveals having a home visit today. It seems he hasn't been going to school lately and didn't tell anything to his mother either, where a homeroom teacher is coming to check up on him. It seems he doesn't want her to be around, considering it would cause more trouble, so in the meantime she asks that she shouldn't barged in as it won't take long. Miyako's concerned is if she is disguised as a monster, the one in trouble would be him. He explains if that happens she should come protect him. It seems he finds himself to be asking too much, but this should be acceptable towards her, which she smiled softly, assuring she would protect him no matter what, and then exclaims that no matter what happens, even if nothing happens, he should only call for her. She then slowly licked the glass window, rubbing her chest against it, exclaiming that sooner or later the day will come when you won't have to open the door for her anymore. It seems he doesn't have a choice and found her dangerous. As Miyako slowly creeps up, she wonders how he would call for her. As she pointed, her teacher isn't here yet. A voice could be heard asking to let go of Aoi-kun. The homeroom teacher suddenly is seen at the hallway, asking to let her student go. As she tries her best to help Aoi-kun, they then shortly cleared up the misunderstanding after. The homeroom teacher apologizes, claiming she tend to lose sight of her surroundings when she gets agitated, upon revealing she was the homeroom teacher. Both Aoi-kun and Miyako is left quiet to observe her. It seems the misunderstanding was cleared up using the reasoning Miyako was a relative of his. She then asks if he doesn't mind if his guardian is present for this session right now. Aoi-kun looks at Miyako, where she shows no response, which assumes that his homeroom teacher isn't a monster, then giving him a bit of relief, but he doesn't know how to talk to non-threatening people. His sensei suddenly brought up a gift she has where she baked them cookies herself, asking that he should have some. Despite it was her first time making them, she still tried her best. It seems she wants to get along with him. Hearing this, he took up one, but truth be told, he is still scared of talking to people, but if it's her, it seems he doesn't mind. Miyako suddenly showed a terrible, dreadful gaze towards him, making him feel nervous and discomfort, calling him out for his content expression. It seems she was jealous, nearing to cry, as he didn't look like this towards her. As she called out his name, he became scared, dropping the gift, insisting he must try them later. The homeroom teacher suddenly asks when does he plan on coming back to school, as everyone is waiting for him. Hearing this made him confused about the situation. His teacher pointed out that all of his classmates should be all aware of his circumstances, as she already had a talk with them, and they would surely understand once he clears up the misconception about Miyako-san. As she tries to say flattery words about her students being good kids, he calls out to her bull, as he reveals those guys spread rumors and go so far to throw rocks at another person, and yet she's telling they reformed because she told them off. With scary and dark eyes, it seems he already knew he was being deceived by her. The homeroom teacher suddenly questioned if he doesn't believe her, where it's then revealed her eyes became hypnotic and her voice suddenly echoes inside his head. As she tries to get Aoi-kun with her voice, it seems he is being controlled and should listen to what she tells him. Being pulled in slowly, he finds himself to be scared of her. As the homeroom teacher exclaims of belonging to her only, but Aoi-kun finds this to not be right and asks to be saved. Where Miyako suddenly intervenes. Despite being scary-eyed looking, she still comes to his aid and claims Aoi-kun to hers only. She shortly apologizes of losing herself for a second and asks to leave it at that for today. Left alone, time passes by quickly, where he questioned if Miyako was there by his side, questioning to himself if he could trust her. It seems Miyako already confronted a creature already and already handled her swiftly. She shortly got approached by another one where this afternoon she didn't have their scent. She then asks to reveal what kind of creature she was.
The story starts as the MC started chanting a spell out of a book he picked up. It seems he was summoning something, and upon a closer look a woman with horns appeared. Seeing her summoner, she questioned his inquiry. Around 11 hours ago, the MC encountered a female classmate who was seemingly confessing her love to Kenji-kun. It seems she liked him for so long and wanted to go out. Hearing this made him happy and immediately agreed. He ponders of how long he waited to finally get a girlfriend, waiting 17 years. But his encounter soon turned tragic as another woman intervenes, calling his love letter to turn out to be a lie. After another of the women showed up in disbelief, calling him the worst, things suddenly turned sour as they all angrily prepares to teach him a lesson for toying with a maiden's heart. This startled him and immediately shouted in class. He calls this out for being a terrible dream and was still hung up on the past. Another person agrees right next to him, telling him it's not good to let those things linger too much. It seems this was the teacher all along, and his friend was laughing at him and at the situation as he was asked to go into the guidance room afterwards. After classes, it seems he had a rough time. His friends calls him out for having some balls on sleeping during Kitagawa's Japanese class. It seems she also tried to wake him up, but despite this he couldn't get up in time. He then revealed doing some research. His friends jokingly told him he was just busy watching some lewd stuff. They then proceed to make fun of finding his dirty magazines and calls him old-fashioned. His friends then suggested having someone to date, especially with her little sister being popular, as such he could get introduced. The MC doesn't want to bother with his little sister and wants to confess on his own once he has enough confidence. Hearing this made them call him out for saying the most weirdest things. He also revealed spending all his allowance for this month, and it seems it's the weekend, as such going out is out of the question. It seems he also has important things to tend today and tomorrow, as he heads off and bids farewell to his friends. He was pondering alone walking back home, not believing he got caught earlier in class, and it seems he knew to himself that he is not in a state to confess to anyone right now, as a real girlfriend is nothing but a dream for him, but today it seems to end. As to settle and fully enjoy his school life, he plans to summon a demon on granting his wish. It seems he was determined to execute this, but he tries to hold his composure, realizing the embarrassing words that makes him shed tears in shame. It seems the great demon he wants to summon is the Lady Gremory. It seems she possesses the ability to match his wish. Anxious about this, as he wonders if he could negotiate properly without getting flustered, but with great determination, he arrives at his home wanting to settle things with his past self somehow and enjoy his life with a proper romantic relationship. But upon doing the ritual, he deems this to be a failure. He wonders if he made a mistake and right now he isn't good enough. But the demon claims she is the great demon duchess of the demon world named Gremory. The MC ponders as her appearance and personality is totally different from the legend. As he was talking to the demon, his little sister seemingly overheard a woman's voice in his room. She questioned this, which made Kenji-kun suddenly panic, as this seems bad, and blames the demon for the noise. He then pleads towards the demon to cooperate. He shortly opened the door and apologizes towards his little sister, making up the excuse of trying to adjust the volume to watch a movie and messed up quite a bit. His little sister scolds him and worries of him to not stay up too late. She then realized of not having also any school tomorrow and is wide awake, thus she suggests to watch the movie together in his room. The MC suddenly apologized and reveals of actually watching adult videos. Hearing this shock her, she calls him out as this is one of the reason he doesn't have a girlfriend. She also noticed he is poking his head out from behind the door, questioning if he doesn't want her coming inside his room. But the MC exclaims that he isn't wearing anything under and was watching those kinds of videos. This ultimately made her lashes out against him. It seems he avoided another misunderstanding and somehow managed to bluff his way through. The demon insults him for being the worst to bluff. She also threatened if he ever step out of the protective magic circle before signing the contract, she would end his life. Hearing this made him anxious, mentioning something about his past life. This suddenly made the demon Gremory to be curious, questioning if he has memories of his past life. It seems he MC suddenly remembered stuff about 2 years ago. And this was also related to summoning her. She then asks for more details about his past life, asking out of a little curiosity. He then introduced his past self to be a resounded great sage in a world of swords and magic. The demon doesn't seem to believe this and calls him out to be embarrassing. It seems in his past life he died in an accident and had things he regretted. It seems he really wanted to go back to his original world. Gremory is confused. If he was such a great sage, he can just do it with himself rather than summon a demon to help. It seems it was impossible for him to travel to another world with his current and weakened state. It seems it's not just his appearance was reverted back, but his physical and lack of magic abilities are fatal. It seems he did his best to reproduce summoning ritual passed down in this world. It seems this was the whole reason she was summoned, as she possessed the knowledge. It seems she also wonders about this world if it has magic. Upon hearing everyone has magic powers on the other side, Gremory didn't thought twice to agree and wants to make a special contract with the MC. However, she pointed out that the compensation for a contract with a demon like her in exchange is for his soul. It seems he already knew this and asks her to take it after he dies of natural causes. Only of course if his wish was granted. The demon calls him out for surprisingly cautious, wondering if this was due to him in a position to impose such conditions. The MC is scared as violence isn't the answer. She then went ahead and calls their encounter a rare opportunity and considered their contract established. She officially introduced herself as the Duchess of the Demon World, holding authority of the universe. Upon asking what's the regret he wants to fulfill, costing of selling his soul to a demon like her. The MC then reveals of wishing to check out how his girls are doing in his harem after he passed away. The demon is in shock of having a harem, wondering if he was an emperor or something. Gremory teases him for giving off virgin vibes aura. It seems this was caused by the trauma he had from the cause of death in his past life. He also assures that he was super popular and cool. Upon questioning the cause of death in his past life, he reveals being stabbed by one of the girls in the middle of something, which hearing this made her comment of how traumatic this was. She then uses her powers to search the coordinates of his past life and creates the ritual for creating a gate to transfer as well. Upon completing the search, she then insists of opening the gate while they were at it. It seems she was quickly stopped as his house would be damaged in the process and suggests doing it in a more secluded space. Upon going out of his room to go fetch his shoes, he suddenly encountered Saya-chan outside of his room. It seems the whole time she was outside of his room the entire time. She calls him out for bad at keeping secrets. Thus she pretended to go back, but instead she listened on the whole situation. She then immediately cried, wondering if he isn't her real brother all along and is someone who has taken over by memories of a past life. As the MC tries to clear things up and reason that he has a reason to go back. Hearing this, she suddenly questioned if he really want to see his harem that badly. But to his shock, she already had a knife pushed against his stomach the moment he leaned in. He suddenly started coughing up blood as he fell. She then calls out for the demon to stop hiding and come out. The demon faced her, questioning what are her plans, as they were real siblings. Saya then revealed she was about to be abandoned, and claims to be the only woman who should be by his side in this life and in their former lives as well. Kenji couldn't believe the words coming out of her mouth, as ever since she was born she had memories of her past life too. She reveals she was the first partner he ever summoned and the traitor who killed him in his past life. Her name was Sake, the fox spirit. After ending his life she also took hers, as well, as she doesn't have any attachments to a world without him. She also made sure to prepare a reincarnation spell in advance so that the two of them could be reborn in the same world, though it seems she had him for the past 17 years until today, having the pleasure to have him all by herself. But it seems she is enraged that a demon woman appeared in front of his big brother. The demon then questioned if she as a mere human can do anything against her. It seems Sake has other plans and immediately showed her true form. The two were surprised as she transformed to her former fox self. Expectedly, she chose this world to be reincarnated as this was her birthplace. And unlike Gremory, she could barely move without the help of a contract. Unlike her, she can function normally in this world that lacks magic. She then insists going outside to settle things, but the MC pleads they don't need to fight. As he passes out due to much blood loss, Sake asks that he should wait for her to return and would pass with him shortly again to reincarnate and spend an eternity together in the afterlife. Outside the balcony, Gremory sees the opportunity and attacks, calling her to be underestimating her too much. But her attack was blocked, as she claims to have the confidence in beating her. In an enclosed barrier, they then headed to cast magic spells towards one another. It seems Gremory is pissed about how crazy of a yandere fox her enemy was. Meanwhile, the MC was fading away as he tries to fight for his life. It seems it wouldn't make sense if he died and has to find a way to stop them somehow. Upon realizing where he could get a bit of magic power, he then looked towards their way. As the battle engulfs and more magic power gets scattered, their final blows was stopped by the MC as he blocked the attacks and got in the middle of their fight. Gremory was in shock as her final attack was stopped by his fingers, not able to believe he was using magic. It seems he absorbed and recycled the magic they both scattered during their fight. However, this was only his former title of Great Sage. It seems his wound is also completely healed and backfired against Saya, as Gremory recognized her summoner for an exceptional spellcaster. The yandere fox who betrayed her twice is now in a sorry state. It seems Saya also realized she couldn't win against him, but the MC puts out his magic and asks Gremory to step back and give space. Saya could only look with fear as they faced one another. Saya braces herself for the worst. But instead he was met with a hug and comfort as he apologized for being the one at fault, pushing her to do this. It seems he realized how much of a fool he has been, seeing her face as his consciousness faded away. It seems he never thought she was chasing after him and was more worried she might get punished by the others. It seems she also misunderstood his intentions of going back and staying permanently, but wanted to check up on the things he left abruptly. It seems he plans to stay also as her big brother. Saya the yandere fox apologizes as she states she was scared as more and more people were gathering around him and was afraid she would eventually be completely ignored. It seems deep down an ugly jealousy stemming from her inferiority complex sprouted. It seems his own shortcomings drove her to that point. Their moment was shortly live as Gremory is opening the portal to the world where he was reincarnated from before. And if it's true that it was truly overflowing with magic, it could become a paradise for demons like her. It seems she plans to invade that world, seeing the achievement she could achieve. Hearing this, the two of them is worried as she gets called reckless as on the other side. It seems the MC's reincarnation destination is confirmed. And in that case, the former harem of women will gladly go to their beloved master as they could finally meet once again, awaiting his return. It seems they are all aware that he has been reincarnated and his appearance will be completely different. It seems they were more than delighted to meet him if he was significantly weakened, as they could snatch him away and make them theirs all alone. It seems this was the beginning of Yandere Hell. Back to the portal gate, it seems monsters were attacking from inside. Seeing this made Gremory to see the monsters as weaklings. But upon being targeted, she was surprised to receive its attack more powerful than she anticipated. The MC and Saya asks that Gremory defeats them, as they would soon find out the situation, but it seems she has trouble in defeating the monsters out. Saya panics as the barrier would soon be undone and everything would be revealed. The MC isn't that bothered, as they would be left alone once the other side is finished observing this world. As he tries to use another magic attack, it seems it's impossible, as he doesn't have any magic power left, but somehow the gate is closing slowly. It seems running around for Gremory was just a way to buy time. It seems the entities chasing has unbelievably high magical density paired with the magic being sparse in this world. They soon collapse and the gates closed. Gremory is delighted to know the magical monster entities were tougher than she thought, thus she expects a lot from this other world, wanting to know more. As she heads down, she asks more information about this other world, but the MC is satisfied and doesn't want to go to that world, stating their contract is fulfilled. Gremory exclaims this was not possible, as the magic leaking out from that gate was this much and can power up by a lot. She then states what would happen if they invade and make that power theirs. The MC argues this would be impossible, destroying her determination. It seems the MC tries to explain he questioned what does Gremory thought of the monsters earlier. It seems for her she foresee this as a high-level demon. But in reality it was just a low-ranking one, a familiar use for reconnaissance. It seems the magic density of the world Tullia is off the charts. Because of this place was teeming with monsters everywhere. Among them there are also exceptionally vicious individuals, ones that could easily destroy an entire country. It seems the human are also stronger than expected, but technological levels stuck on medieval era. It seems it's possible that the inhabitants over the other side are stronger than her race. She instantly was met with fear, but shortly cried and weep as when she finally had the chance to achieve something big. The MC could only comfort her of handing over his soul to fulfill the contracts. Hearing this made the Yandere fox to be enraged, but was stopped by the MC with a smile on her face. She bids farewell and wants to go back to the world of demons and claims of seeing him again to claim his soul when his lifespan is over. But it seems nothing happened when she activate. As the two watch in awkwardness, it seems Gremory doesn't understand the situation. But afterward she doesn't have any means to return to the demon world. Normally she could just go back and easily dissolve her temporary body. The Yandere Saya used her eyes with magic power to identify the problem and found out her figure is completely incarnated. They suggest this must be because she absorbed the magic from the gate. It seems her body got bound by the laws of this world, which means she could only use a bit of magic and have become a mere human. Hearing her words made her stunned. She laughs hysterically and borrowed the knife, wanting to also take her life as a means to return. But the MC stepped in as she might perished away normally. The after effects soon started as her clothes deteriorates. This left her to shout and make the MC to take a peek. It seems this world has an unusually low magic density, and that ritual also serves to support the demon activities. It seems the magic used to fulfill contract are sourced from said demo world. And since the contract with the MC is complete, the support for magic is gone, which means Gremory doesn't even have the magic to maintain her outfit. All she could do is be left helpless and cry. They try to come up ways to help her, but it seems he already settled things with his previous life and doesn't want to rely on magic or demons anymore. Saya pointed out this was impossible as he was already discovered where he reincarnated. It seems the familiars earlier came to investigate and find any trace of him. As he tries to use the reason that they would just be disappointed to see his current state, Saya argues not everyone looks up to him due to strength alone, as even now Saya still loves him very much. The MC exclaims that once Gremory calmed down he wants to make another contract, but right now it seems it's impossible to do so, and leaves her alone for a while, as they catch some rests. Saya exclaims of having her past life exposed, and despite everything she eagerly wanted to sleep right next together in her room. As he pats her head and made her blush. The MC is dense as a forest and insists on borrowing their parents' room for tonight. They left her in distraught and shocked. She then approached the former demon Gremory with a smirk on her face. She suggests they make a little deal with her. With scary eyes, the former Yandere fox explains that if she agrees she would provide support for her to live in this world and would help to do something about her current condition. It seems Saya can't give 100% guarantee but could only back it up by studying reincarnation techniques. Saya then anxiously asks for the price for this. It seems Saya has 3 demands. First, Gremory has to make sure that her brother falls head over heels for her, and asks it to be natural. Gremory paused, pointing out that they are siblings despite their past lives. But Saya doesn't seem bothered, as she is confident they could alter the family registry. Gremory, despite being a demon, finds her to be serious dangerous. Saya, with a deranged look in her eyes, asks Gremory to listen till the end, as this would benefit her also. Gremory could only stood in silence, pondering of how of a demon she is. As the morning came, the MC barely got any sleep and wonders about any solution to fix about Gremory's situation as he headed inside his room. He was surprised to see them being close to one another, having the girls talk. He was surprised the two of them got close. Saya is happy that they talked about a lot of things last night. It seems Gremory decided to accept his new offer to renew the contract. It seems Saya put the details, as Gremory has to protect him from anyone who was involved with him in the other world. Although it feels kind of vague, it's necessary when demons like her wants to stay in this world for a long time. The condition is also until his lifespan runs out. Gremory has other plans for its conditions. The MC offers his computer, but made Gremory to be enraged, as this trash doesn't deserve to be offered. Saya calms them down, as for her they seemingly agreed upon providing support for clothing, food and support. Saya also already plans to explain to their parents, which they then once again formed a contract. Upon testing her magic powers to be back, she became happy and enthusiastic and started right away. She then transformed her outfit back into the original. But Saya seemed displeased as she destroyed her favorite outfit. Her room was also decided that it would be the storage room. As the idea of the brother and sister being together, it seems he wanted some privacy and stuff, but Saya doesn't mind if he were watch his collections. In the end, it seems she was given another room to stay in. But before they do everything, Gremory asks about his exes from the previous life. The MC is unsure, as it's in the triple digits, but Saya confirms it's 7 that for sure won't give up on him. It seems beforehand there is a round table consisting 8 people that were his previous lovers. Hearing this made Gremory to comment that he was something back then. Back to the other world, it seems the 7 women were gathering as they were called, and in this round table we are introduced to Veracruz the Blazing Radiance, Anita the Vessel of Corruption, Sharistina the Iron-Blooded Saint, Aruthia the Elegina Wind Blossom, and last Kalzavina the Divine Abyss of Hope. Kalzavina announced to everyone that they have identified where he has been reincarnated. Hearing this surprised them, and most of all were delighted to hear the news. Upon being questioned for the basis of this claim, the footage was shown where they confirmed the soul waveform of the boy matches the description perfectly. It seems they were confident, as he still has that stupid look on his face. Upon seeing this, one of the group memes is enraged, questioning why is a treacherous vixen is with him. They suggest that he must have forgave her due to being lenient with those close to him. They wonder why he opened the gate, as he could just came back already. They argued that someone hostile to him interfered. Hearing this made them happy to crush this hostile entity, as they plan to bring him back. As they gather more information on the area and world, it seems they still hasn't much, as they currently are deploying a gate for investigation. We are also introduced to 2 shut-ins. It seems they were altered when the familiar they had monitoring the other has been destroyed. Eager to check it out, the group disperse and is worried if something serious were to happen. Veracruz questioned if all of this is going according to plan. She then comments the two of them are alike, but for her desire are far more shallow and petty than one thinks and would be taking advantage of the situation as the rivalry over Kenji the MC has already begun. The story starts as Sarah is approached by the MC, asking about her situation and wanting to hear her problems out. Upon hearing his words, she immediately left a sigh of bothersome, suggesting that he must just want to look good by taking pity on her, wondering if she would put out for him just because he was kind to her. Met with negativity, she brushed him off with insults and profanity. Later, as school ended, Sarah is once again beaten and bruised by her mother. As she got up in great pain, she found the day to be another unpleasant one. She indicated her mother was in a bad mood. She also remembered the MC talking to her today at school. She labels him as a creep for approaching her like that. She only wished that nothing happens tomorrow. As tomorrow arrives, the MC seems curious enough to follow her. Sarah questioned his motives as his house isn't on this road nor this way. The MC exclaims of being worried for her safety. Sarah let out her frustrated sigh, exclaiming that the MC must not jump in to try and save her so irresponsibility. She questioned if the MC would take responsibility when he takes action but makes things worse for her. The MC gradually approaches her more, even at the gym where she sat alone in the benches. He insists of treating her to lunch. Sarah didn't took this lightly and negatively suggests if she is some stray cat he picked up. As she declines the offer, she appreciates the good intention the MC has towards her, but being kind to her he might eventually want something in return. She points out that she wasn't hungry, but upon saying so her stomach suddenly growls of hunger. In the end she eventually gave in and was treated to a tasty bun. As she quietly ate her food, Sarah ponders why the MC is staring at her. The MC replies that she was cute, but Sarah is confused as what is so cute about someone covered in bruises and cuts add to the fact she is wearing an eye patch. Sarah ponders why is the MC even treating her to lunch and praising her looks despite not being close to one another. She negatively asks the MC to back off as she could see his motive clear as day, finding this gross also. Later that night she ponders on the swing on the playground, staring at the sweet bun the MC gave. She is confused, but somehow the MC gave her another food for dinner. In her head she could only ponder the MC having motives as to why he bought her food. Upon finding dinner to be unusual, she wonders if she's becoming a pet or something, as silence dawns on her. That night she could only eat in silence, savoring her food, exclaiming the whole situation to be gross. As the next day arrives in school, the MC once again approached Sarah with a delicious made bento. Upon seeing the MC made food for someone who he isn't even close with, she could only find his approach to be negative. Questioning what ingredients or unknown bad thing he put in it, exclaiming it's disgusting. She ponders if the MC is trying to impose his selfish kindness on her, trying to garner good karma and attention by putting effort into his food. She finds this to be so off-putting, betting that he's the kind of person to even write their girlfriend a love song for their birthday. As the next day arrives, Sarah is being forced to open her legs even more. As her mother tries taking a picture, she gets criticized for not smiling as she wants Cell looking horrible in the picture. Sarah could only stand in silence with a fierce look. This made her mother to be enraged, questioning her gaze, venting her frustration as she owes her life to her mother, and if only she didn't came along she could have lived a good life. As the kicking continues, Sarah is left in tears to apologize for her actions and to obey her commands. Only in return she stops the beating. As the next day arrives in school, the MC didn't dare try approaching Sarah that day. Which after school she confronted the MC. He explained that it's because she seems like she won't like it in the first place. Sarah misunderstood the MC, figuring if he got tired of being kind towards her, and he probably realized that no matter how kind he was to her, she wants going to put out and moved on to the next girl. Even though she jokingly said this, she finds him to be genuinely kind, and since he is kind she wonders if she could ask the MC for something. She asked that if he could have his way with her, and hope he would take this chance, but upon hearing this the MC denies the offer. Even though Sarah reveals this would save her, she suddenly became negative, pondering that he doesn't want to save her, and just want her to be just happy enough that the MC won't feel bad looking at her, pushing the idea that it really was all for his gain and interest. That night Sarah is left depressed once again in the playground, exclaiming that she doesn't want to go home and face the same toxic atmosphere in her household. The next day arrives at the same sitting bench in the gym. The MC still made her food to eat that lunchtime. Sarah questioned if the MC feels good on taking care of such a pitiful girl by showing such mercy to someone weaker than him. She bets the MC hopes those weaker than him would rely on him and become dependent. She calls out that it must be nice to be on that high horse of him. She became honest, revealing that she can't stand that way of thinking and to not use her to validate his own existence. As school ended and Sarah was about to leave for home, the MC reveals liking her. Hearing this made her sigh again with frustration. She points out of being covered in bruises and is unfriendly. She only talked bad about him, wondering how the MC managed to fall in love with her. Sarah suggests that the MC is just horny and is acting in frustration. She points that he doesn't care anything for her, exclaiming the MC after all is aiming for that as collateral for his kindness, calling him out for being disgusting. That evening when Sarah got home, she felt a little bad about how he shot the MC down earlier and for being toxic despite being bought food for her dinner. She ponders of being a little nicer to him starting tomorrow. As she ate, her mother suddenly came into the room questioning the food she has and where she got the money for it, upon revealing that she got it from a classmate. Her mother grabbed her food and tossed it away, exclaiming that she should next time ask to give her something worthy. She suddenly got surprised as she was having a guest for tonight. Sarah sat down confused. Who's this guest? Her mother laughs as he is apparently an online creep who loves buying her tease pictures where she forcefully took, and now revealed that wants to have her for the night. As the door opens, a bald and old guy introduced himself to Sarah in having a fun time. Sarah doesn't want to do anything with the guy and refuses the offer. Hearing this made the mother to shout and be angry with her. The guest doesn't mind and slowly rubs and went under her skirt, being gentle. But Sarah immediately kicked him in the face, making her mother worried. This made the guest to have a nosebleed and claims that she made a big mistake. Upon apologizing in return, she got beaten and bruised all over, causing him to be soft and leaving for today, wanting to come back once she heals. The next day arrives and the teacher and her classmates doesn't seem concerned about her well-being. The MC approached her with worry, questioning if she was all right. Sarah negatively answered as one look at her would be obvious enough to tell that she isn't all right, yet he still asks. She asks that it's enough trying to score nice points with her as it's annoying. She also brushed him off as her problems has nothing to do with him nor anything he can do to help her. She once again brought up if the MC could have his way with her, but knows to herself that he can't, which she points there is nothing he could do to help about her situation. She also pushed the idea that it's his fault this happened, as if the MC had his way then this wouldn't happen in the first place. Later in the afternoon, the MC wants Sarah to come to his house for the night. Sarah seems to get the idea of the MC wanting to protect her by abducting her. She called out the MC's idea to be childish, yet his motives are painfully clear but just plain weird. Despite having an interesting idea concerning him, she has doubts that the MC even have the guts to have his way with her, resulting in her agreeing to his idea. The MC assures of protecting her, as such she could relax that night. Sarah, hearing this, doesn't believe she could relax while being in the home of a guy they don't even like in the first place. Despite this, it beats going home to her house. She also claims as soon as found someone better she is done with the MC. However, she looks forward to their dinner tonight. The MC smiled happily hearing this, which made Sarah question his gesture. The MC expressed being a little excited about letting her stay in his home. Sarah pointed out that to him this might be like a fun little sleepover, but for her this is like taking refuge. She also spoke up about the MC having ulterior motives for playing savior. Not being able to do anything, she only asks to not at least try to make her so uncomfortable as she sees him being creepy. That evening, Sarah took a bath and even was lent a hoodie, which the MC apologizes for having the lack of proper women clothing. She doesn't mind about the size or what's on it, but she just doesn't like the idea that the MC is looking at her as she wore her boyfriend's shirt or something. Later, as the MC was about to cook, Sarah put on an apron to help out. Although the MC insists she doesn't need to, Sarah is persistent on doing the kitchen work also. She ponders if the MC is trying to make her dependent on him by pampering her. She put this thought aside, wanting to do whatever she can by herself and doesn't want to owe more than she has to, and as unfortunate as it is, she has no plans becoming dependent on him. The MC questioned if she cooks a lot and is familiar with the kitchen. As she answered never doing so, she also noted that she doesn't want to leave everything to him and wants to help out as possible. She asks for the knife in chopping up the vegetables. As she was cutting the ingredients, Say managed to get a cut, which resulted in her to sat down quietly as she got bandaged in her finger. The MC exclaims that for a pretty girl like her, getting hurt is such a pity. Sarah still receives this negatively, asking him to not be creepy as a cut or two more at this point won't matter anyway. The MC pointed out that he doesn't want Sarah to get hurt anymore, but she points out it has nothing to do with him though. But he still insists in pushing the idea. This made Sarah to be left defeated, making her to behave properly and not keep her waiting, or else she would help out no matter how much she get hurt. As the food was served, Sarah took a bite and suddenly started crying. The MC questioned if she was all right. Sarah couldn't contain herself as tears started falling. She asks that he does not look at her face, calling him out for being annoying and fussing over every little thing. She claims it's not as big a deal as he thinks it is, asking to be left alone, but Sarah could only ponder how long since she had a hot meal as it tastes good. Later, as they get ready for bed, the MC once again asks that they should eat together again tomorrow. Sarah ponders why would she wants to do that, as it feels gross having him to watch her eat the whole time, but slowly she cannot deny his kindness and suggest rice and miso soup for breakfast. That night, the MC suggests sleeping on the floor and asks Sarah to take the bed. Sarah claims that his bed stinks and doesn't want it. She feels much more comfortable on the floor, denying his hospitality. She also points out if the MC would think that she would feel bad for him and suggest they both sleep together on the bed, calling him gross as Say giggles happily with a small smile. As they both sleep that night, the MC suggests she would fall asleep peacefully. Sarah then claims she won't be able to relax enough to sleep as she is in the same room as the MC, mocking his breathing to be rough and scary. As silence dawns for a moment, Sarah with a calming voice questions something serious. She wonders why is the MC is going so far for her and if he would get anything out of this, cause she know to herself that as bruised and full of cuts as her cannot be called cute at some point. She also points out her toxic personality being all negative in hospital no matter how kind he was. She also cursed and call him names. She wonders if the MC wants to do her badly, wondering if ugly people are his kink. To top it all, she questioned if the MC is a huge masochistic perv all along. The MC reveals of just wanting to save her from her dreadful circumstances, wanted to be kind to her, regardless of how she treats him, and want the bruises she has to heal physically and emotionally. Sarah, hearing this, made her breath a sigh of relief, turning away and calling him gross but in a playful way. She also smiled with a pleasant feeling that night. As the morning arrives, she greeted the MC, wondering what is up with his relieved look on his face. She ponders if the MC was worried that she was gonna run away and be gone when he woke up. She claims that as long as the MC is useful to her, he doesn't need to worry about it, cheering him up to do his best. As she says this, her stomach growls. As they sat down and eat, the MC ponders if her parents will ask the police to search for her since she ran away and took refuge. Sarah points out that if they did end up doing that, they are the ones who would be arrested, assuring the MC they would be safe and not have to be afraid of being branded as a kidnapper. Sarah points out that the MC would protect her after all, asking that the MC much see this through the end. As they headed for school, the MC exclaims it's kind of embarrassing going to school together, which would make them look like a couple. Sarah doesn't seem bothered about it, but calls the MC out for his disgusting delusions and things won't change anything if he keeps being this way. As they both sat in school being close to one another, the MC is seen happy. Sarah pointed out the grin on his face is so off-putting. She pointed out that even though they would be together at home, he still would want to be together at school also, but for her it's off-putting as the MC is special in this way. As lunchtime arrives, the MC seems to forgot to make her a bento box. Sarah with a smile asks that he shouldn't apologize for it, as she jokingly said of not having high hopes for him anyway. As she giggles happily, she already knew how busy and how caring he was this morning, even as far making breakfast. Being grateful for it, she thanked the MC and asks to make up for it. She is looking forward to dinner. As school ends, Sarah gets invited to go on an after-school date. She comments that the MC probably figure out that she's in his debt now and doesn't have any right to refuse his offer. Calling him scum, but jokingly, she is happy to go and accept the offer. As they arrive near a food stall, Sarah gets questioned if she likes crepes. Upon revealing never having one, she asks that the MC doesn't have to buy her one as she is not that hungry. But in the end, the MC wanted her to experience getting one. Sarah is hesitant accepting the bought crepes as she was already satisfied enough getting dinner, but the MC insists she go ahead and try it. Upon taking a bite, she asks that the MC don't stare so much, calling him out for being a weirdo, but all she could savor was the sweetness tasting good. This experience made her found things thing to be kind of fun. As they went around shopping, the MC suggests buying clothes for her. She seemingly found a cute hoodie with the design she likes, but doesn't want the MC to go that far for her as he already given her plenty. But the MC comments that she is cute and wants to see her dressed up. She mocks the MC for being gross, but gives in as she just can't keep borrowing his clothes forever. As she tried it on, she gets complimented for wearing it immediately. Sarah ponders if this little flattery is enough to make her fall for him. She called him out for being gross, but she claims the happiness she gets right now, as it's the first time anyone has ever given her a present, wanting to take good care of it. As she got home, she is mesmerized and is happy about the clothes she got, even as far noticing the MC observing her. The MC is glad she liked upon it. Sarah exclaims this is the first time she ever worn such cute clothes ever, and back when she was young she would see all the kids around her with their fancy clothes. As a matter of fact, birthdays and Christmas didn't seem to exist for her, which explains the hatred for it, as it was so obvious who the lucky ones were. She sighs again, pondering if only this happiness today could last forever. The MC assured Sarah of making her happy from now on. Hearing this made her giggled, questioning if his words were supposed to be a proposal, as it was gross enough that made her hungry. Upon being asked what she wanted for dinner, she answered with omurice, but upon noticing they seemingly forgot the eggs, she pouts, as she was really looking forward to tonight's dinner. Being disappointed about it, she insists on buying some eggs, but upon leaving like she said she would, hours passed by and she never came back to the MC. As days passed expecting Sarah at school, she arrives one day out of the blue, and it seems Sarah is badly bruised and beaten. The MC all along pondered about his worries as he knew something must have happened. He suggests approaching the police or teacher for help, but Sarah denies the kindness as he already has done enough. And no matter what bad things her parents do or how much they beat her, she would deal with it. She then exclaims as day after day he talked to her to the point of it being annoying. He made an effort to do so, even making lunch for her even though she never asked. He was so kind to her that it made her barf at the thought of it, which she finds it enough. As her tears fall, she wonders if she could ask for more. With teary eyes, she wanted to keep things just like this, cause if her parents get caught she surely won't be able to stay here. And she would hate this the most, as Sarah wanted to be next to the MC even only for a little while. At lunchtime the MC presented her with a homemade bento. It seems all the time she wasn't coming to school he kept on making it for her, expecting her arrival. It seems it's the omurice she wanted to eat. Sarah is thankful and is really happy right now, even though her home is hell, and thinks she would be able to bear it. As school ended, the MC questioned if Sarah is really going home. Sarah is definite on her answer, as today was plenty fun enough already and it's fine for her. The MC wants her to stay with him for a little longer, but Sarah insists they see each other again at school tomorrow. As Sarah was about to leave, the MC ponders heavily about the situation as he knows to himself that if Sarah doesn't go home and her parents found out she's with the MC, there is a good chance she would end up even worse next time. And even if he begs the police to intervene, it might lead to a situation Sarah doesn't want in the first place. But he gets the feeling that if he let go of her right now, the MC would regret it for the rest of his life. The MC shouted of his feelings, asking that they should run somewhere far away together. Sarah wonders if he is actually an idiot, as if they did that it would mess his life too, even knowing that the MC still wants to stay with Sarah. But with a sigh of relief, it seems she just needed the push to take action and run away far together. Later that night they both started their plan of running away. Sarah questioned if the MC has somewhere in mind he wants to go. The MC honestly doesn't have a clue, as he just wanted to save her without having any sort of plan. Sarah exclaims of not being worried. as she is happy enough to hear the MC would be with her running away, which made her happy. Sarah with a fierce look knows that they would be fine without a plan. Even if they get caught, Sarah won't hate her for it. The MC exclaims they would for sure definitely get away, which Sarah finds the assurance to be comforting. The MC compliments her looks with a hat, calling her cute. Sarah finds his compliment to be quick-handed, criticizing him if this would all it takes for her to fall for him. Sarah comments if the MC wants to use other clothing as they're disguised as used for hiding. The MC suggests her picking out a different outfit, but Sarah is fine with these clothes sticking with it. The MC questioned if Sarah is ready, where she is confident in their escape, having all their needs to set out, having everything packed indicating they are ready to go, and dig into the homemade lunch the MC packed. Shortly after they arrived at one of the train stations, the MC promises to protect Sarah where she could rest easy for their trip to escape. Sarah wonders if she looks anxious to him, as right now she feels very safe being with the MC and is counting on him. As they got off, the MC comments as Sarah seems to be having fun. Sarah reveals she is, as she was never allowed to go on family trips and definitely not school field trips either. She explains honestly this is the first time she was going somewhere far away and it's even more fun for her being with the MC. As they headed to the park in the middle of the night, the MC apologized for not being able to get them a room to stay in. Sarah is fine with the situation being used to be outside, plus the MC is looking out for him, giving him a jacket to protect from the cold. Being thankful for his kindness, she also reveals actually having a lot of fun being just the two of them alone in the park at night. The MC suddenly wanted to tell Sarah something. He suddenly expressed his love for her. Sarah questioned the MC if she is fine with a woman like her, especially the one being covered in bruises and rude but also always talking down to him. She also caused so much trouble to him. The MC could only compliment her for always enjoying what she eats. And how cute she is whenever rice gets stuck around her mouth. Not only that, she also listen even though she seems to have no interest towards the topic. Lastly, she act cool but cute clothes is fond of her. As he tries to say more, Sarah exclaims that his words are enough and she already got his point. She also get how he feels towards her and how dangerous his feelings for her. The MC suddenly confessed, asking Sarah to go out with him. Without hesitation, Sarah agrees to going out, making their relationship official as Sarah asks to take care of her properly. As their moments seemingly stood still, a dark and scary figure stood behind her holding a knife. Sarah was suddenly held at knife point. She exclaims that the MC should go home, but he refuses to let her face this situation alone. Sarah just wanted the MC to be safe, but her mother seemingly doesn't want both of them to be let go. Her mother, frustrated, claims that the MC put unnecessary thoughts in her daughter's head, which she claims of not forgiving the MC, wanting him dead at this point. Sarah, with fear and tears in her eyes, doesn't want the MC to be involved, trying to calm the situation by claiming she would obey her orders from now on, just not to touch the MC, but her mother doesn't seem fond of listening. As she vents her frustration and anger as they seem to be looking down on her, having fun with some guy, exclaiming she would punish them off. As the MC tries to stop her, as Sarah almost seemingly gets a knife to her face. Everything suddenly went black and unknown, leaving the MC to only see darkness. But shortly after waking up, he seemingly have no recollection of what happened after that, and only an unfamiliar ceiling gazed upon him as he was apparently in the hospital. Waking up beside him was Sarah. The MC is glad to find her all right. Sarah worries that she isn't, as she might be unharmed, but the MC got seriously hurt because of her. Their situation was saved by a passerby who lives in the neighborhood, who apparently stumbled upon them, stating that the MC could have died. She profusely called him out for being an idiot, questioning how dumb he could be, as she claims she is not worth it. She didn't want the MC to save her if it means getting him hurt in the process. As tears fall down her eyes, she is so worried about him, and didn't know what she was going to do if he never woke up ever again, but she also didn't forget to thank the MC for saving her, and is grateful for surviving. Shortly after, the situation calmed down, which her mother was arrested for the crimes committed, the result of which was that, with no parents, Sarah then became a ward of state. The MC apologizes as the police ended up getting involved. Sarah doesn't mind this, as it wasn't his fault, as her mother was the one who caused all of this in the first place. She exclaims of being sad that they won't be able to see each other anymore, although finally free of the nightmare. She thought they would be happily together forever, but Sarah doesn't know if they could do anything to achieve that. The MC hearing this wanted to hug Sarah, but she only talked down on him as it would be a lot cooler if he had just done it instead of asking. As their final day of being together ends, they were inseparable until the very last second. They promised to each other they would meet again, as 5 years passed by since they made that promise. They once again met up in the park bench. The MC had no way of getting in touch with her as it was hard finding her. Sarah apologizes for this hardship as she could have been the one to go since she knew where he lived, but on her mind she kept pondering she would be causing more trouble, so she never did. She praises the MC a good job for finding her, praising him for doing well if he was a stalker, as it a little scary also. The MC proposed of living together with her. Sarah is shocked to hear his words, wondering if he was even listening to her. But Sarah is confused as she might even caused more trouble and she doesn't want to do that ever again. Sarah points out that 5 years ago the MC talked to her every single day, and even though she never asked for his kindness, he did it without anything in return for it. The MC was sickeningly nice to Sarah, and even if he got hurt saving her, he bought plenty of happiness. She couldn't dare ask for more. The MC wants her to ask for more, as he promises to make her even more happier from now on forevermore. Sarah seemingly doesn't want to ask for more, as by being here the MC is already happy, but she doesn't think she could make the MC happy, in fact the opposite, but the MC is firm on making them both happy together. Sarah with tears questioned if she could really stay with him, which the MC doubles down as he is now begging Sarah to stay with him. She suddenly grabbed hold of him, as she cried with tears of joy. She claims that they would never be apart again and she would not be letting go, exclaiming her love for him over and over again as she loves him so much. Shortly after, the MC invites Sarah to head over to his place right now. It seemingly sounds bothersome for her, but she once again talks badly if the MC was trying to take advantage of a crying girl, mocking him for the creep he was. But she knows herself the best that the MC is not that kind of person. Sarah then exclaims of being hungry, wanting to eat the MC delicious cooking of curry and omurice, pondering that she would be a little greedy towards him as the food the MC makes is delicious. Thus the happy ending of this manga, but we then transition to the happy life of the MC and Sarah. At home the MC brought a lot of ingredients, as he looks forward to making a lot of food for her, which Sarah does as she is so fond of his delicious cooking, and she probably looks forward to spending time with her going forward. She smiles happily waiting. All she could ever ponder was that she could get to be next to the MC for the rest of her life, which is what she is looking forward to the most. After a few days, Sarah is seemingly thinking serious about a certain problem where the MC seemingly noticed this behavior of her. Sarah, with a serious look, asks that he doesn't worry about it, even so the MC insists on hearing her out. Sarah pointed out the MC always being so direct regardless of how bad she feels. She reveals as day after day he cooked delicious meal for her, she ultimately gained weight. After work, Sarah worries the MC must be tired too, as he doesn't need to pick her up, but the MC is worried about her, where Sarah pointed out he is such a meddler and a worrywart, but because of this and got concerned for her, it led to who she is now, being thankful for coming to pick her up as always as they go home together. At home the MC suggests going outside for a meal due to getting his paycheck that day. Sarah is happy he gets to do gestures like this, but insists he should spend on himself, and she also pointed out being on a diet, but upon saying this her stomach grumbled. This immediately changed her mind, being embarrassed as she wanted to change clothes before heading out. She also pointed out of starting dieting tomorrow and to stop indulging in her so much. In the park the MC packed lunch for them that day, but Sarah asks that he should take it easy on days off, as making these by hand must be hard on him, but Sarah is happy that he always think about her happiness, which she then has plans later tonight, of making the MC happy both mentally and physically. The MC is confused, which Sarah brushes her statement off. At home the MC questioned if Sarah loves him for assurance, but it seems she really like and love him also every single day, and she also liked the part where he also adores and is always thinking about her happiness, making Sarah to express her love towards him. This made Sarah felt embarrassed about the situation. Later that night they both headed out at night, where the MC is grinning, exclaiming of feeling like on the edge of his seat. Sarah also felt the same way, being excited as in the old days she felt scared and lonely, but as of right now she is happy. being with him, which she pointed out that it kinda bothers her how gentle and caring his hands are, and as of this moment nothing scares her anymore, even if she has any fear the MC would be there for her being by her side. Hearing this made Sarah question if is it alright for her to be so happy, but the MC plans to make her even happier, thus leaving the night filled with happiness. The MC the next day suggests eating together for tomorrow as well. Sarah knows his motives of just wanting to watch her eat. The MC couldn't help it as he finds her so cute. With no other choice, Sarah suggests that the MC go straight home quickly as she also looks forward to eating together with him. That night arrived and Sarah is crying happily with tears of joy.
The next day the MC once again forgot to buy eggs for their dinner tonight, which she was looking forward for dinner, as she insists on buying the eggs as she feels having omerous today, but this time he learned from his mistake and wanted to go with her as a way to protect and be sure she is safe as to avoid any more red flags, which she is grateful as she reminds him of being reliable at times like these. As the MC prepared their omerous, Sarah intervenes wanting to help him but insists she just sit down, although she doesn't want to be spoiled and make her rely on him even more, but she goes on to remind him that she already can't live without him, being more and more dependent on him as she looks at him admiring his personality. As the night falls, Sarah bids goodnight and thanks the MC for working hard, but that's not all. She also is thankful for everything, but she suddenly questions if it's really okay to say goodnight as she have the best she wants next to him, which the MC assures her as they fall asleep in each other's arms. The very next morning, the MC doesn't realize it's already evening as he was sleeping so peaceful and were very tired from their late night activities last night. Sarah serves the MC omerous in a messy way, asking the MC to ignore its look, which he ate without complaining, thus making Sarah fall in love with him even more. The MC explains afterwards that he is sorry for oversleeping on his day off, which she doesn't mind at all if that's what's been bothering him, as this is also an opportunity for them to laze around together and cuddle some more starting tomorrow also. As another day comes, Sarah finds his food made with love to even more delicious, as such she wants to eat his cooking forever, which she unknowingly blurts out, embarrassing herself. As the new year comes, they are out in the garden playing with fireworks as the MC reminds her not to hurt herself, as such he is still a worry rat towards her, but she doesn't think he is that nosy, rather she is glad, as the person she likes worries and cares about her, and it's not something she is taking in for granted, and that's why in the future if this goes on it would make her even more happy. On a certain night the MC decided to gift Sarah a new loungewear which she likes it very much and praises it for being cute and warm. The MC all along planned to sleep with her together that night, which Sarah smiles knowing her man knows how to make her happy. The new year is about to end in a few days, which Sarah really liked eating burgers, and the MC suggests they should eat this again next year, indicating he will be with her next year, which made her even more happy. And the year after the next year, Sarah wants to be with him long after that, as she finally met someone who makes her feel this way, which she looks forward to it year after year. The next Halloween the MC questions if Sarah would wear a Halloween costume, but she explains not even wearing one, even she was a child and it might be too late for that. Although she would be happy giving him fan BF service by cosplaying if it makes him happy, which he requests a maid outfit as a man of class. As Sarah heeds the request of his boyfriend, he compliments her for being too cute, as such she is grateful to have him around if this makes him happy, to which in this case she asks trick or treat, in which the MC requests trick, indicating their nighttime activities to even more lengths, showcasing a healthy relationship. As our story is nearing, the MC one day came home late, which he apologizes to Sarah for doing so. She explains that she isn't mad or anything but more like worried, and to at least let her know beforehand if he would be late. She questions his cause as to why he was late. The MC all along got her favorite sweets from the popular bakery which she always wanted to have, and blushes at his kind gestures for giving him for his late arrival.
The MC questioned Sarah if she wants anything for Christmas, but she revealed of how her family was she doesn't really get receiving Christmas presents. Sarah is already grateful and overjoyed as she gets to eat his delicious cooking and having a comfortable home. Even if Sarah asks for more, nothing comes to her mind, but if she has to say something about it. Sarah wants the MC for herself. She immediately realized the embarrassment of her words, wanting to clear it up as she wants to spend Christmas with him. The MC understood this and wanted to fulfill her wishes, which made even further look forward to it. Sarah seems to give the MC chocolates for White Day, but it seems she messed up, resulting in a later date. She revealed making this for the first time. The MC, seeing her efforts, wanted the rejects too. Even though they are failures, she still made them for him. Hearing this made Sarah to be really glad that she fell in love with him. Upon waking up in the morning, Sarah is surprised being seen in a cat outfit today. The MC exclaims of loving the look. As the next day arrives, the MC seemingly noticed that Sarah likes to eat the bread she has. She pointed out this was her favorite pastry, but besides that, back then this was the first food she ever got from him, reminiscing the time the MC approached her helpless self. Sarah ponders as the MC probably didn't remembered, but back then she was covered in bruises with a hateful look in her eyes, but also was hard to approach, and it probably took the MC courage to speak someone like her, indicating this was the medium for them to converse and the bread he gave when she was hungry. Sarah wouldn't tell the MC the main reason, as it's embarrassing, as she could only look at him with a pleasant look. The next afternoon, Sarah arrives back home where she smelled the cooking of curry. Overjoyed, she really likes his cooking and is thankful even though he came back from work. She also exclaims of doing her best. The MC is confused as Sarah slowly revealed like washing dishes and giving him the sexy look, as a little surprised for later tonight. As the MC came back from work, Sarah asks if he would like dinner, a bath, or perhaps a welcome home hug from his significant other. As Valentine's arrived, the MC gifted Sarah a present, making her happy, as today is White Day also. It seems she was pleased as the person she likes returned her feelings, which made her happy and expressed their love to one another. Shortly after, Sarah is crying and breathing heavily. Upon asking her condition, it seems she caught the hay fever, apologizing for making the MC worry for nothing, as he was a worrywart all along. But she is glad the MC is looking out for her. The next morning arrives. Sarah is found to be cute as she is wearing a dress, but back then she couldn't as she was covered in bruises, but thanks to him this was changed for the better. Even as the MC left for work, she gets a farewell hug and kiss from Sarah, asking that he should do his best at work. As the days off came, the MC is anxious as it's raining, but Sarah is happy as it's just the two of them at home today and will make sure he has the best day off the MC ever had. As the night arrives, the MC doesn't want to sleep in early today, even though he has work for tomorrow. Sarah is pondering if they should stay up this late, but with a fierce look in her eyes, she wanted to stay up late with him tonight, indicating their lovey-dovey making time. Their daily life continues as the MC always praises her for being so cute, even though back then she was negative about it and talking him down, which Sarah appreciates and is thankful for loving her every single day.
The story begins as we focus on a girl named Kirwa-san, who sits right next to him. He ponders as to what she is always doing by herself after school. Although she seems to have friends to get along with, he doesn't seem to walk home with them nor interact much, as she just remain in the classroom afterwards. Her friends called out to her attention, as her friends bid farewell to her, which she doesn't plan on going home yet and immediately goes back to scribbling something on her notebook. As her friends leave her behind, as she always stays after school all the time, as our high school boy is curious as to what she does. He leans onto her and wonders what she is up to. He talked to her as he noticed she doesn't go home until late at night. As she finally noticed him, she starts sweating as he finally knew that all along she was drawing manga, and he compliments her for her amazing artwork. This made her freeze up but also doesn't believe him for a bit. After the interaction with Kirwa-san for a bit, they chatted for a while and she apparently draws manga as a hobby, but she is too embarrassed to let anyone find out. With that, his curiosity was sated as he decides to cheer for her in silence from now on. But to his surprise, he got approached by Kirwa-san as she smiles with a grim and dark look on her face. This made him questions her as he feels special, but she explains she only wants an honest reader feedback from an ordinary person. He suggests uploading it to the internet, but she's too scared and wants to originally keep it a secret that she drew manga, but since he got involved, she became more furious as it all happened fast. But she's glad that it happened. With this, she made him her accomplice. Although she doesn't draw crime manga though, he points out that if she want to keep it under wraps that badly, why didn't she wait for him to go home before she starts drawing? Her intention was keeping a decoy on whoever passes by, but since he found it, it's no use at hiding it, as she was too focusing in drawing, making her look like an airhead. She scribbles away drawing her manga as he looks at her, fascinated by this. He praises her in a moment of silence that he looks really cool when she draws her manga. This made Kiriwa-san trembles as she became flustered and became confused as she can't really express herself right. He laughs at her, then mocks and compliments her for being good at drawing facial expressions but so bad at making them in real life. She says she's a lost cause towards that, and he basically said it's not hard at all, as he wants her to try right now on making that expressions. At this point she had no choice as she made a smiling expression, which she looks like she just made a grin expression with her awkward smile and awkward emotion with it. This confuses him as he doesn't know what he's looking at. She's lumped down as she became sad, as it was hopeless to make a proper expression in real life, and she should just stick to drawing. He apologizes for making her feel this way and offer her to buy a drink as a form of apology as she scribbles away. Kiriwa-san wanted strawberry milk, to which he got her, which we cut back to him judging her manga art and getting his opinion on the matter. He expressed himself that the whole setting with the gods and objects are interesting, and overall the art looked good for what the situation is. He goes in depth to the whole manga as the scene of the knife cutter god she is drawing it would be more alive, like if it was moving. He got the idea from his friend as he comments on how intense or depressing it is, and it's the action for those characters that attract manga fans when they read something. Kiriwa-san is overjoyed as she found this advice to be really helpful as she holds his hands tightly. She wouldn't be able to realize this any sooner by herself, and praises him for having a keen eye as she wants to correct this the next time. He became embarrassed due to her holding his hands and pointed it out to her. As she looks down, she realizes she did something embarrassing and she apologizes for holding his hand. He realized all along she could make a normal face even if the situation calls for it. After this, he is glad to be able to help her, and that ended our interaction between the two of them. After finishing the artwork, we cut into him as his friend wonders why he is glued into his screen phone lately. He finds him reading manga as he recently picked up a new hobby. His friend also pointed out that he has been hanging out with Kiriwa-san after school and wonders why. He pushed the idea again onto him as he smirks and makes fun of him. He looked flustered and his friend realized. Kiriwa-san entered the classroom and decided to leave them alone, being the best wingin as he gave space with their lovey-dovey session. Upon being alone, the two sat in silence and in awkwardness as he became flustered hearing his friend earlier, and that this made the situation uncomfortable him as he thinks of their situation. With this knowledge, he feels unnecessarily self-conscious. He got surprised as Kiriwa-san called out to him. She explains that he doesn't need to keep her company all day every day as she could do this by herself. As this was the normal before they ever did this, Kiriwa-san overheard their conversation earlier with his friend as he was being invited to hang out but couldn't because of her. She made him her accomplice but doesn't have to feel tied down. He doesn't need to feel obligated to her, as to begin with, it was her all alone by herself, and he should also voice out his opinion and wants as well in their relationship. Although as they are friends for now or more like acquaintances, he blurts out that he likes being with Kiriwa-san, which made her confused as she flustered a bit, stating what kind of nonsense he is spouting about. He also didn't understand what nonsense he is saying, but he explains that seeing her filled him with energy, basically a confession at this point. He embarrassingly said that he kinda enjoys the time they spent together all the time, and if it doesn't bother her, could she let him stay after school with her and would like to watch her draw her manga. She ultimately is a person that can't focus, constantly being watched, but if he is willing to talk about her manga with sometimes she wouldn't mind, and that she would feel happy if he stayed and get to know more of her, as she explains with a face using her fingers that she is smiling and basically answering him yes, that he could spend time with her. This made him eager to learn, reading that face of her, and understand her expressions more or soon enough, as this made him happy upon hearing he could stay and watch her draw manga, thus ending our loving story as a boy got captured by a yandere who can't act like one as they enjoy the youth having one another through their hobby. This made Kiriwa-san and him became more closer as their daily life includes one another and are happy together. Although they didn't become officially a couple yet, but I'm hoping to ship them together and be married, having 5 kids and living a long joyful life. The end. I hope you get your happy ending to peace out. which we cut into another one-shot manga about a little sister hating her older brother but changed her attitude after one day finding out they're not blood-related. The older brother always presume his little sister to hate him in a way he doesn't understand as they are blood-related, which he always interact with her sister but she always seemed hostile and negatives towards him, as her attitude and mood around him is bad. But one day their parents had them sit down and announce to them, revealing their relationship as brother and sister to be not real and they are not blood-related. This shocked the little sister, letting out a small laugh under her breath as she has been probably waiting for this circumstances. 1 week later, after finding out they are not blood-related, the little sister acted differently, being mad at him for being late and going home, as he promised to do so after school to spend time with her, as she has been waiting for a while. As they talked, she suddenly noticed a smell coming from him, which she noticed as something different. The sister became a yandere with dark eyes as she smells another stench of a woman in him. She questions who did he met and was it a woman and is it because of that she is late. Act thought scared to answer. She wants him to honestly give an explanation and not be buried underground as she is a bit scary even though she started liking him more. Which is the end of our video. I hope you like it and sorry for adding a filler one shot as this have been a waste to not include.
The story starts off as a woman barges inside an apartment apologizing for waking the MC, explaining coming too early before the dated time. She explains being excited for their date today, being too excited she woke up early, also preparing a lunchbox. The MC is confused, wondering who she is. The woman in front seemed confused as she introduces herself as Rekun's girlfriend, wondering why he is asking. She ponders if he has any reason for not letting her inside the house. Wondering if someone besides her is inside, insisting it's a woman and he's cheating. The sudden realization kicks in as she seemed to mistook him for someone. Apologizing for the inconvenience as he was a neighbor of his boyfriend, explaining coming here in a hurry and forgetting her contacts shortly after she left. A week passed by and the MC suddenly noticed a lot of noise outside his apartment, suggesting his neighbor moving out. Although he never saw him, he only got a glimpse of the movers, never the man himself. Suddenly he got a ring in front of his door. A woman could be seen peeking, looking shy. As she stood in front of the MC excusing herself for the intrusion, asking if he remembered her, he recognized her instantly as the neighbor's girlfriend, which he suddenly corrected the MC as they recently broke up the other day, confusing the MC even further. She shortly explained the affairs her ex-BF was having, bringing other women into his house. Upon hearing this, the MC questions what kind of man would sew such an awful thing to such a cute girl. She looked sad, but afterwards doesn't care anymore as she came here today to apologize on the inconvenience she caused the other day, baking a cake for him as an apology. The MC is delighted and compliment her kindness, going out of her way. The MC offered her company in his house by having some tea, which made the woman beam with light, asking if it's all right. She immediately accepted the offer and headed inside his apartment. Unbeknownst to him, this would be the start of their journey of being acquainted even more to one another. As the door shuts, she hurriedly headed inside, smiling happily. The woman in front is named Yui-san. The MC excused for the mess as he wasn't expecting anyone, which Yui-san doesn't mind at all. The MC questions if she would wait for some cup of tea to enjoy with the cake she brought. She expressed that she is happy as long as he gets to enjoy it, as the cake isn't big enough and it's only for him to enjoy, not wanting to worry about her share, although she slipped up and called the MC with his real name. At first the MC didn't seem to notice this, but as soon as he did, he questions the mentioning of his name, which made Yui-san's eyes suddenly becoming dark. She immediately became wary, but also assuring the MC as she already knew his name before due to the mails being mistakenly put in her ex-apartment. And remembering it as it was an unusual name, he didn't raise any suspicions anymore, but Yui-san still is apologetic, giving him a scare like that. She then in return introduces herself formally to the MC as Yui-san. She expressed that it's some kind of fate that they met, asking to be taken care of from now on. The MC ponders if this is the start of something and questions in his head if it's alright, even though she is his neighbor's ex-GF, although unbeknownst to him his neighbor really didn't exist. Upon opening the cake, he praises it for looking delicious. As the MC is taking a bite, she stared intently, making him nervous, although she seems anxious, waiting for his reaction on the cake she made. The MC took a bite and tasted it, praising its taste. Yui-san breathes a sigh of relief as it has been a while she made them and were worried how it would taste. Shortly after, the MC suddenly felt sleepy while looking at Yui-san. As his eyes closed, Yui-san whispers night-night, indicating she made him fell asleep using the cake. After a while, the MC ponders what he was doing as he could suddenly feel something soft and warm all of a sudden. Upon opening his eyes, his sight is suddenly focused on Yui-san, asking if he's awake now. He questions how in the world he managed to be like this. Yui-san explained he managed to doze off as he must be tired from work. Upon realizing the situation, he suddenly perked up, apologizing as he fell asleep in her lap, although Yui-san smiled and laughed it off as his sleeping face was so cute. The MC ponders of being embarrassed by his actions, resulting in falling asleep due to overtime. As he looked at the time, it's already past 6, which Yui-san suggests going home as she have completely overstayed her welcome. The MC bids her farewell, apologizing for not being able to accommodate her fully, which she doesn't seem to mind at all. As she was leaving, she questions if she could come see him again, which the MC seems delighted to do so. This made her happy, wanting to see him next time soon. As she left, the MC is left alone, praising Yui-san for her cute looks, although he wonders how he managed to fall asleep, as he seemed to also notice the dishes being put away and the room being tidier than before. Unbeknownst to him, Yui-san intentionally made him asleep and got a hold of a spare key of his room, which she held tightly while smiling, indicating she wants to intrude on his apartment without his noticed. On a sunny day, Yui-san could be seen singing to herself, doing laundry. Nothing suspicious at first, but she suddenly grabbed hold of a pair of boxers. Embarrassed by her actions, she tried staying composed as she has to do her best. This is because one day she will be Akudo-san's perfect girlfriend. Seemingly, she is inside the MC's apartment using the spare key she stole. Later that evening, as Akudo-san got home, he noticed the laundry being done. He called his parents asking if they came over and did it, to which they didn't, as his parents apparently doesn't have spare keys kept at his place for emergencies, which they also asks him to come home often some other time and visit them. That evening, Yui-san was also listening, but she was listening on them using a spy mic on his apartment. She laughed hearing his confusion over the phone call with his mother. The very next day, Akudo-san is seen walking to his work, which behind him from a distance is Yui-san taking pictures as she silently compliments him, looking good wearing a suit. Suddenly, a bunch of men is taking a peek at her from a distance, describing her cute appearance and a really good figure. They took the courage to approach her and questions if she is meeting with her friends, asking her to come hang out with them instead. Her eyes suddenly darkened, feeling unpleasant by their sudden approach towards her. She told them off as she is meeting up with them and she loves asking them to go away. The men suddenly whispered to one another, getting a bad feeling from her asking to cut it out. His friends jokingly laughs as he seems to be losing his nerve over a girl like her, but in the end they got away from her as they felt something off. Shortly after Akudo-san was going back home from work, finally catching a breath, he seemed to bump into Yui-san scattering her groceries and being startled by her sudden appearance. As they both tried cleaning up, she seems to not expect the MC here. She went to close her store to do some shopping, which Akudo-san seemed to be interested in her store. As he reached out for the last item, he suddenly touched her hand, startling Yui-san, although she tried inviting the MC out into her store. A voice of a woman could be heard calling out senpai towards Akudo-san, making her darken her eyes. As the woman named Idano-san approached Akudo-san, she wanted to invite the MC out for a drink, but he seemingly left straight away, although Akudo-san seemed to be avoiding her. Yui-san, on the other hand, looked at her dangerously. Idano-san suddenly noticed a woman standing beside her, questioning who she is, which she immediately jumped to the conclusion it was his girlfriend, as they both tried explaining that she is just his neighbor, a bit complicated, but ultimately friends. Idano-san breathed a sigh of relief, being grateful that doesn't seem to be the case, although Yui-san looks at her intently with her piercing gaze, wondering what's her intentions towards Akudo-san. Idano-san immediately made arrangements to go out for drinking, although he hasn't said anything, being forced to do so as their friend arrived. Idano-san bids farewell, immediately asking Akudo-san to go with them in an urgent, although he wanted to first hear about Yui-san's words earlier, as she might be saying something. Idano-san's friend heard this and wanted to mention it, but she pinched him, indicating her aggressive behavior. Yui-san ultimately decided to let them go. As such, she bid farewell, telling the MC to come visit her anytime he likes. She also offered baking cookies for him next time, which made Akudo-san blushed and smiled for a bit. This is when Matsuda, his colleague, urgently grabbed him to go drinking, as both Idano and Yui-san bids farewell while the MC apologizes and wants to see her next time. As they have their back to each other, both of them look slightly towards one another, thinking what their intentions to the MC. At the bar, Idano-san discussed the traffic accident that had happened. She expressed her fear of being involved in it. Idano-san explains that she is scared going home alone after seeing something like that. On the other hand, Ikuto-san doesn't seem to think of her words, as he is worried for Yui-san, wondering if she's alright. Idano-san in the front seemed to notice something and called out to the MC. She assumed that he was thinking about something else, which he explains his worriness on Yui-san. Idano-san didn't take this lightly, asking to only look at her. On the other hand, Yui-san is all along listening on their conversation from a distance on an earpiece he planted on him. Her demeanor changed to a dark and dimmed atmosphere as she read aloud the information of Idano-san's parents and brother included, as she also lives alone. Back to the MC, his friend suddenly excused himself to the bathroom, leaving the two of them alone. As Idano-san is seemingly drunk, she questions if he doesn't plan on drinking anymore, although his concern shows as he wants to know if she would be alright going home. Idano-san knows she will be fine, but although she reveals being worried about something, which the MC questions, Idano-san reaches out her hands and only plans to reveal this to him. She put on a face asking if they could go somewhere else with the two of them afterwards. The MC questions what should he do about this, as he seems wary about her intentions. As their drinking ends, they all separated and went towards their own ways, bidding farewell, which Idano-san just stands in silence as she didn't get what she wanted. The male colleague mentions that Ikuto-san being so cold and distant, and he offered himself to talk with her as he is always available. Although she heard this, she told him to shut his mouth. As she was standing still looking at her phone rang, which he doesn't recognize the number, wondering who this is. As she answered, a familiar voice could be heard asking if she enjoyed her little get-together. The caller was none other than Yui-san. This made Idano-san caught by surprise. She seems a bit worried, although she recognized as one of her senpai's friend from that day, asking how did she get this numbered. Yui-san didn't reveal anything, although she apologizes for calling in late as she wants to ask for a favor. She mentions of being sorry about Ikuto-san, as she wants to be able to give a warning. And it's her fault, and this time she wanted to talk calmly without any fuss. Idano-san seems confused, but Yui-san suddenly turned murderous as she warns her to not get near the MC any more than this, asking if she could do so. Idano-san didn't took this seriously and laughed loudly as she was confused, but she smirked and only assured they are only junior and senior in the workplace, nothing more than that. Yui-san thanked her, taking her word for it, but Idano-san has other intentions, but unbeknownst to her, Yui-san is standing from a distance watching her every move. As the colleague got back, he questions if there is anything wrong, which Idano-san suddenly changed her mind about something and she needs his help. Back to the MC, he shortly got back home, pondering if he didn't do anything bad to Idano-san, as he was thinking of Yui-san the whole time and couldn't accept her offer as he is already hooked on Yui-san. With the days being long, he plans to go to bed and sleep early, although his plans got interrupted as a ring could be heard. A knock in the doorbell could be heard, which the MC wonders who would be at the front door this late at night. As he peeked through the small hole, he saw Matsuda and Idano with a worried face on him. He opened the door, questioning what happened to them. Matsuda explains that Idano became wasted after another round of drinks and she seems to not be responsive, and not knowing where she lives, he couldn't just dump here anywhere, only coming here to find help. Matsuda seems worried as he brought her inside and suddenly leaving her behind to Ikuto-san, finding excuse as he has to wake up early tomorrow. The MC couldn't believe Matsuda as he just left her, but he doesn't feel right to let a female co-worker in his house, but can't just leave her alone, which he decided to let her stay and sober up. But unbeknownst to him, this was all part of Idano's plan. As Matsuda left the apartment, he has a gut-wrenching feeling that something bad might have happened. Back to Idano, she seems to act surprised being at Ikuto-san's apartment as the two are left alone in his place. Idano felt sorry for the inconvenience, but it seems her interest went towards his room, asking if there were any lewd magazines hidden, which the MC suddenly became surprised as he denies having those magazines. Idano-san seems to be enjoying this. Ikuto-san suddenly mentions it's getting late and they should rest up early, asking her to take the bed while he takes the sofa. Idano-san became flirty all of a sudden as she doesn't want to hear those depressing things, asking to sleep together, which surprised him all of a sudden. Ikuto-san shoved her back as he is fine with the setup he had in mind, which he then turned away from her, bidding good night. This made Idano pout a bit as the MC makes sure that nothing's happened between them. Late that morning at 2 a.m. Ikuto-san is sleeping soundly, which Idano-san couldn't believe his actions towards her advances. She suddenly remembered Yui-san's words not going near the MC anymore, although she ignored her. She thinks of her not even staying at his room, let alone acting like his girlfriend, although Adano doesn't want to end the night just like this as her pride won't be able to take it. She suddenly got the bright idea while looking at him. She got near him as he was sleeping. With a smile she leans forward going for a kiss, although a dark figure could be seen in the background peeking as Adano-san was about to go for a kiss. She pauses and decided to take a photo as she might never get the chance to do so. Unbeknownst to her, as she was taking a selfie, her camera suddenly caught a figure holding a hammer behind her. This made her instantly freeze as she stood there silently looking at the unknown figure. She stood still in fear as the dark figure raises its arm and instantly attacked her. As the dark scene cuts, we are left with a lifeless, unconscious body being dragged behind the curtains. The mysterious figure suddenly revealed itself as Yui-san going for a kiss on the forehead on Akuto-san. Which that evening the MC was half asleep thinking about Yui-san. That morning he woke up and thought to himself of dreaming something. He seems puzzled as he looks around in confusion, not finding where Adano-san is. He didn't saw her shoes in the front, not realizing she's gone home already. As he checked his phone, a text message could be seen thanking him as Adano-san left already while he was asleep. The MC was worried over nothing that night, brushing off the encounter. He replied, which revealed the phone of Adano-san being in the hands of a woman. This woman is Yui-san, as she got hold of it last night. Being sad as he didn't need to reply to that text message as that woman was intruding and taking advantage of him in the first place. But she pays her worries no mind as from now on she will keep him safe. Later that day, Ikuto-san feels bad for going to sleep while a female colleague was over, but as he tried getting up, a ring could be heard on the front door. Wondering who could it be, suggesting it might be Adano-san forgetting something. As he opened the door, he was met with Yui-san apologizing for the sudden visit she does. He wonders if he could help her with something. She decided to went out of her way to check on him as he mentioned drinking yesterday and was a little worried he was too badly hungover. The MC blushed and seemed happy thanking her as she went out to get something for him. And she reveals that she just wanted to really see him today, making the MC's heart caught by surprise. She suddenly got embarrassed as she was just teasing him, which he finds this cute, almost giving him the wrong idea. But suddenly she became dark-eyed as she questions if he had any guests over, which Ikuto-san seemed confused. Although he revealed inviting something yesterday due to being too wasted, he assured that was all there was to it, which Yui-san felt revealed as he was honest with her, wondering why did she ask for such information. Yui-san revealing she just had a woman's hunch, which the MC see women as really perceptive when it comes to those things. But suddenly Yui-san acted adorable, asking that he shouldn't bring any other women to his house going forward. Which the MC seemed to understood, as he doesn't just bring anyone here anyway, making Yui-san happy. She immediately excused herself as she better get going as she left for a brief moment leaving. Yui-san introduced her store as a small and cakes confection store named Luna Nova. Ikuto-san seems hooked as the cake he had back then from her was so good. Yui-san is delighted to have him drop by the store when he's free, as she insists on personally taking care of him if he went to the store. As she left, Ikuto-san decided to drop by and check the place out tomorrow. A sudden ring from his phone suddenly could be heard as Matsuda questions if Adano-san has gone home yet. He replied that Adano-san left early in the morning, which Matsuda stands in silence as he kept ringing her apartment with no answer. He stood in fear and wary as something bad might have happened, which I would say karma did. Back to Yui-san as she closed her store while making cakes. Ikuto-san texted her thanking for the morning and asking to drop by again the store tomorrow. This made Yui-san beam with happiness as she happily made cakes. After her creation is done, she headed downstairs on a dark and eerie basement. As she opened the door to the basement, her dark-eyed figure revealed as she thanked someone for patiently waiting. The person she was thanking was none other than Adano-san, tied up and bruised up from their altercation, holding her captive, never to be seen or heard from again, as she keeps her away from Ikuto-san. With this ends our story as Yui-san gets her happy ending and Adano-san meeting her fate due to the consequences of her actions.
Standing in the middle of a field, two friends are parting ways. Wanting to meet each other again after becoming fine adults, the woman proposes they should get married, leaving him to ponder as the promise made that way was one-sidedly, although it was very important for him. Ever since he was a child, he was always spoiled by his mother and older sister. Then one day he received a letter of invitation to enroll in an academy called Bijima. Knowing himself fully well, he knew he couldn't grow up to be a fine adult if he continues to be spoiled. Thus the decision he made going to a school on an island isolated from the outside world. The entrance ceremony started sailing smoothly. Thus starting his determination for the sake of becoming a fine adult. This school is originally made for bureaucrats, presidents, or national singers, numerous talented people emerging from this environment. The MC didn't ponder much as he only wants to keep his promise to the woman from his childhood. Karu is convinced of becoming a real man on the island. Although his other male peers finds the situation odd as they are a lot of too many cute girls. As school started, he is surrounded with beautiful women fully looking well grown up. He seems restless, managing to bump into a freshman, giving him a scare. The student warns him to keep a lookout. This gave Karu envy as he promises to one day catch up with everyone if he drinks milk every day. A woman suddenly emerges named Kanra-san. The students are happy to see her, happily singing with the children. Karu is suddenly met face to face with Kanra-san. Seeing their substantially different height, he feels small around her. She introduced herself on living in the islands for the meantime, asking if he should need help. She is welcome to hear his requests. Karu feels a bit shy considering she has to be in charge of explaining the island to him, resulting in taking too much of her time, especially when she has student council work. He apologizes, although she tries to assure him, exclaiming it's a privilege for her to cater to a young gentleman like him. He suddenly became frustrated being called as cute and not seen as a man. Kanra suddenly questions if he has time after school today. This resulted in her showing around the city today, being dragged around eating delicious food, finding her pleasing appearance and personality to be cute. As their days dragged on enjoying their date, Kanra finds a perfect spot with a beautiful view of the city. She felt relieved visiting the places found to be typical of date spots. Being glad and asking if he has anything in mind to visit next time, Karu suddenly noticed her shirt being wet, all of a sudden being flustered at the sight of it. Kanra called him to be a pervert, although she questions if he finds this to be sexy, finding his arousal to be quite pleasing as she finally revealed her demon self, revealing that the sexual desires of humans sustains demons like themselves. Karu still couldn't believe horns coming out of her and being a demon. She then insisted he grabbed onto her melons. Kanru finds it pleasing as he finds happiness seeing them. She then revealed they couldn't leave the island once they arrived. She then turned Yandere all of a sudden, not letting her prey get away, scaring Karu away to dash away from her. Karu couldn't believe he was squeezing the marshmallows without a thought. He ponders if she's not human. He suddenly stumbled upon the guy he met this morning being shipped out, whispering about him already losing his V card. This made Karu ponder what kind of stuff is going on in this island, let alone being shipped out due to it. He suddenly overheard the demon deciding to eat him tomorrow. He now finds himself anxious, seeing as if he gets caught he would also be eaten alive, not being able to fulfill his promise to his parents and also friend. With the flashback ending, he hurriedly ran towards his fellow male classmate, desperately saving him, questioning the sanity of the women in this island. Unbeknownst to him, the female demon went back and sneaked up on him, wanting to eat him instead due to his actions. But her actions was stopped by Kanra swiping her off the planet. With her terrifying knife skills and strength, she defeated a lower class demon, exclaiming that those who are not nobility is not permitted to touch her prey. She then calmly approached Karu to not leave her suddenly as he would get preyed on by other demons. Although she exclaims of eating him up, she questions his next whereabouts as he was planning to leave. Karu pointed out if he was heading to the police station. Although it's evident that most police officers, mayors, judges, teachers, and the people around here are all demons that originated from this island, powerful individuals holding power are the ones who takes control. Pointing out they are demons, especially the girls working off island are promoting this island, pointing its pleasant miscalculation. They seemingly misunderstood as they came here to have a wonderful school life, but the students here invited were nothing but sacrifices for the demons. Kaoru upon hearing this teared up desperate for a normal answer, although she explains all they need from them are kisses and a small amount of baby seed, asking him to give into pleasure and get eaten by her. Kaoru shouted for her to stop thinking about his friend from before leaving Kanna to be in shock. He states of promising someone to marry not wanting to do anything related to intimacy. Although she pushed the idea that it's not like that but a meal for them, she assured her bite will be euphoric and he shouldn't panic. She bites down on him hard, giving him the unordinary lifetime experience. As she finishes her meal, Kaoru quivers due to releasing his seeds, marking his countdown as 9, seeing it go down being marked with the things often seen in doujinshi. She exclaims of taking her time and enjoying her meal to the fullest. This left Kaoru to question his safety, pondering what will happen when he gets shipped out. Kanna didn't give a straight answer and told him to seek the answers for himself once it happens. With her menacing and lovely eyes, she exclaims of looking forward to that day, scaring Kaoru as it's probably not a good thing for him. Kanna went as far questioning how does it feel to be eaten and did it feel good. Kaoru knows that he shouldn't be indulging in pleasure and getting involved with demons like this, especially if his count decreases to 0, it would mean the end for him. Kanna is determined to do more pleasant things. Kaoru is flustered but is determined to escape from the islands full of demons. Kanna seems pleased as she would get more fun things that will make Kaoru feel good. Kaoru is forced to abide by her requests. His response triggered her happiness, showing a pleasant smile and warm, peaceful approach, wanting to make it clear that he could do anything, particularly lewd things from now on. Kaoru is flustered, but is taken care of and moved away from the scene, making sure he doesn't get preyed on. In school, as class starts, everything seems normal and function as a normal school, even the students. Kaoru couldn't believe that earlier he was meddling in the student council's melons, indulging in what others might think of as fantasy. Still not believing the shocking events that unfolded, as he was also marked on his stomach, he suddenly gets surprised by her marshmallows on his head. Kanna did promise to take him out today, although she is busy asking for another day. Kanna didn't seem to show any unusual signs, being cheerful and all, giving Kaoru a sign that she might not be a demon after all, as there is no way he would had marshmallows yesterday. Although Kanna leans and whispered in his ears asking to be eaten by her again, her words broke his suggestion of yesterday being a dream, as she would do anything she can to eat him up. Kanna bid farewell, leaving Kaoru to ponder if it was really alright to be involved with her even further. Although he feels that she is definitely a good person at heart. He suddenly noticed his classmate around him. It gives off the vibe that everyone around him must be a demon, and there are probably lots in this classroom. He approached a fellow classmate acting cutesy. He questions them if they know about the existence of demons on the islands, and if they have done unlawful things to them. One revealed being pampered and taking his blood from him. He also revealed the best part of it. It was a cute female demon that did it. Takefumi blurted out that she has the best marshmallows out of the island. But Kanzuya disagreed, as his was the best, especially with the leggings, calling out that her cake is simply divine. They seem angered by the different opinions they have, debating who's the better one to look at. The two fought, leaving Akira to be revealed, having the president make him release babies. Although they were ultimately stopped by Takefumi not to publicly talk about personal and private things. Kaoru didn't seem to mind, as he showed a cute and feminine face, revealing that he also was releasing children. This made the group peaceful, as they all agreed, as stuff like these happens a lot, especially in the island. Kaoru suddenly noticed Takefumi's neck, pondering as they all have the mark being labeled. He steered the conversation away. He complimented his neck being beautiful as she dashes off from the scene, leaving his other classmates to ponder if he has a neck fetish. As Kaoru was wandering around pondering about something, he suddenly gets silence, as the twin-tailed class president grabs hold of him, asking to not scream nor panic by her actions. Kaoru was suddenly dragged into a vacant room, being questioned by the long-legged class president. She ponders of knowing about Kanna more, and if he wishes to tell more she wouldn't do anything harsh. Kaoru felt chills. She thoroughly explained that demons eat energy produced by humans' desires. The more they eat, the more they grow. This was the norm usually, but unlike Kanra, she isn't like the rest of them, as she hasn't eaten anyone. But while explaining, she reveals her undergarments. Karu is questioning the situation, pondering what is happening. Although the class president questions the lack of sexual desires compared with Akira, he suddenly gets sad on his face. She interrogates him even more, asking what he truly desires as she pounds her cake onto his face over and over again. Although this made him a bit hard, the class president is still not satisfied, as she can have a decent meal with a pathetic libido like this. Pondering why did Kanra chose this human for her prey. She suddenly got up and decided to initiate irregular activities with her hole, leaving Karu to be scared for his life and plead for help as he doesn't want to die. Even though the class president is sold on having the irregular activities, Karu seems to deny her request as he made a promise as she was about to indulge in Karu. Her actions was stopped by Kanra holding a knife climbing to the higher floor. She looks at the class president with hostility, towering over her as the class president questioned her work. Although Kanra doesn't seem to pay her questions any mind, passing by questioning if Karu is alright. The class president gets pissed immediately and threw a powerful punch aimed at Kanra-san, blowing her clothes off. As the building window gets vaporized, the class president exclaims that one should not ignore her. Karu is worried, dashing towards Kanra. Kanra, with her clothes half torn, hugs Karu, worried about his safety. Although the class president couldn't believe her eyes as she took no damage from her attacks. The two seemingly get sweet and lovely, ultimately ignoring the class president. A mysterious woman suddenly appeared from behind, asking them to not abandon their student council work. Karu questions her identity, pondering if she's another demon. Kanra didn't seem to mind the woman behind her, ultimately focusing on revealing her giant dragons. Kanra is seemingly happy with how much Karu has the desire for her, leaving the big woman to pout behind them. Karu played along with her request, but he complimented her for being hard-working, making her look even more cool. Thus she dashes off and to finish her work instantly. The big woman thanks him for a wonderful job, as it seems like Kanra is attached to him, although the class president debates that doesn't matter as they will eventually be shipped out. The big woman warns her to not talk about shipping in front of the food. The two demons laughed menacingly, as to them humans are nothing more than food anyways. Karu gets told off to go back to his quarters as to not make Kanra be mad by snacking on her food. Karu didn't disobey and left the scene in a hurry. This left the big woman to give the class president a little advice, as she is not royalty but a common person. She warns her not to interfere with Kanra-chan, as even nobles like her putting a stop towards Kanra would put her into trouble. As Karu was leaving, he gets questioned by the same group of men earlier, questioning if he had seen Katsuhisa, as it seems odd that he missed school due to sickness, but when they went to investigate, they just stumbled upon a female demon leaving his room. Upon asking her intentions, she revealed no one being assigned to the room, although they tried correcting her words. The demon just left without any explanation. As Karu tried remembering his face, he suddenly remembered it was the person yesterday being punished. The group headed towards the dense forest, talking about a demon taking him to somewhere else. They ponder if he got dragged out and forcibly forced into bondage play. Patch suddenly exclaims of doing number one as he tried unbuckling his belt. He screamed, pointing towards something. They stumbled upon Katsuhisa locked up in an underground room. They questioned what happened to him, being playful, but Katsuhisa showed signs of distress. He asked them to get off this island, but a sudden loud noise could be heard. Katsuhisa panics as there is no time to explain. He revealed that this island isn't just a paradise filled with lots of beautiful girls. He warns them that no matter what, they must not let their countdown go to 0 or they will get shipped, and once it happened, it's all over. The loud slapping noises was a demon clapping her cake as loudly as she could. The demon questions them, asking an explanation from Banjo on why they are here. Banjo explained their friend went missing and searching for him. He pointed out Katsuhisa, but Yakashimura firmly exclaims with a serious and angered expression that there was no one here, as this area is also off limits to everyone. They all stood in fear, filled with anxious expression, although Yakashimura ultimately let this slide, asking to not come back here. But in a twist of events, she would never say that in a million years, as she would ship them all out. A loud clapping noise could be heard, giving the demon scouts interest. The scout quickly arrived, stumbling upon Yakashimura tying up the male food. The scouts gets questioned as they plead with apologies. She doesn't seem to mind their negligence, although they needed to make a report on the situation. She also decided on a punishment. But to their luck, she didn't give any, as they would have gotten in time to arrest the rest of them anyway. She insists they deal with the ship pig that has locked up the scouts. Suddenly turned dark-eyed, seeing him with hostility, but Kaoru immediately shouted. Questioning their intentions with Katsuhisa, Yakashimura asks him to stay quiet as the rest of the scouts put a knife on his neck, warning him to not talk to her like that, as the student council is the higher-ranking members rules this island, which includes Scanra-san. Banjo is suddenly sat down upon with her big cakes. As she expressed her distraught, expecting more towards him, she ultimately finishes him with a clap of her cheeks, calling it as a shame toward him. The scouts ponder if they could eat Shibana Kaoru, but upon hearing his name, Yakashimura suddenly questioned if he were really Kaoru. Upon knowing he was Kara's food, she freed all of them with a clap of her cheeks, asking them to leave. She revealed hating things that aren't fair. She also warns them to never go past the center line towards the left side of the island, asking to forget everything they heard or saw, or else she will ship them out herself. As the group ran like hell, they all felt fear and anxiousness, wondering about if Katsuhisa and the meaning of being shipped out. Kaoru already questioned this beforehand, but they didn't tell much other than, it may means of going missing. They ponder why would the demons be doing this, although they seem important to demons. Kaoru put it all together as to them they are nothing but cattle or livestock to the demons. The glasses guy panics, calling out for the police. Calling for the police would fix the issue, but he revealed everyone except the students on the islands are all to be demons. It means that this island is just a cage to hold humans that are ready to be eaten. This made the group ponder of getting away. The group stood still, as it's clear they have to get off this island. But before this, Kaoru wants to save Katsuhisa. As they were about to figure out a plan, Patch intervenes, asking them to stop. He immediately peed himself, which they ultimately forgot he has to go. Kaoru after a while got back to his room, being surprised as Kanra-san is wearing nothing but an apron, welcoming him back. This made Kaoru panics and be in fear as Kanra ponders if he wants a bath of her. The continuation will be uploaded soon. Thank you for watching. Kaoru couldn't still believe that Kanra isn't wearing an apron and he's witnessing what every man dreams of. Although he questioned her presence in his room, pondering what her intentions are, she looks at him with curiosity, suggesting that he must be tired. She insisted on eating dinner. Kaoru couldn't believe she had him dinner, trying to win his heart with delicious food. Kanra is confident in her cooking skills, feeding him with delicious food, happily enjoying the meals she made. She smiled happily, knowing his satisfaction towards the food, although in the end he questioned her, wondering why is she in his room. She turned around with a cold and dark gaze, exclaiming why she is asking something like that. She teases him if he hates him, although that doesn't to be the case at all. Although he questions his words, pondering why he is so quick to say I'm not hating her. Kanra showed her gratitude, being relieved, insisting she stayed for the night. She pointed out students aren't allowed to go out at night, leaving him no other choice but to accept her staying over. But Kaoru asks that she doesn't do anything weird. Shortly after, Kaoru took a bath. Although he finds this risky, he needs to find a chance to know what kind of weaknesses the demons might have. This great opportunity only comes once in a while, but his focus gets interrupted as Kanra extrudes his night by barging in without any covers. Kaoru looks in disbelief about the situation. Kanra doesn't seem to mind, although Kaoru is surprised by her bare skin, seeing the marshmallows presented in front of him. After the bath, Kanra is happy as they sleep together peacefully, holding him in her arms. Her horns suddenly grew out. Questioning why her horns grew out of nowhere, Kaoru ponders if this is a weakness of demons. Kanra explains it's a natural phenomenon when they get excited, pointing out that she is aroused right now. Her face looks delighted, full of love and obsessiveness, as she cuddles Karu that night, not wanting to let him get away from her arms. She exclaims of letting him do whatever he wants with her. She typically doesn't let anyone have the privilege to do so, but for him it's special, of course. Karu questions why is she keen to letting him have special permissions, which Kanra explains that ever since he came on the island she felt like she knew him all a long time ago. She also mentioned what kind of person did he promise to marry. With a stern and serious look on her face, Karu felt chills. This prompted him to say out his side of explanation towards that person, although he couldn't explain properly as the air felt heavy all of a sudden. Kanra felt scared as Kanra silently listened. Her mood changed immediately, knowing as he would eventually fall head over heels for her, throwing that promise away, as she is determined to make his body and heart of her own, helping him become a respectable adult. Karu finds Kanra to be big and attractive, but at the same time warm and kind. He finds her dangerous, that treats humans as food, seeing them scary. But at the same time he finds her fascinating, seeing her beautiful and majestic figure. He finds her being a demon, to not only be sweet, having a mix into it, showcasing her personal kinds of charm. Karu with the Riz describes her being like honey cheese pizza. This made Karu to fell asleep. Kanra ponders how Karu tastes like when he's asleep. She ponders that he didn't find her home-cooked meal to not be weird. She wanted to taste him for a quick bite, questioning if she's opening herself too much to him. She then exclaims quietly that he hasn't changed at all ever since the old days, indicating that Kanra was the person whom he promised to marry. Tomorrow came and the group of classmates gathered together to discuss over their plans, although Karu is worried that he put himself in danger last night being with Kana-san. All he learned was the more excited demons get their horns also act the same way. With this crucial information, Takefumi started the meeting, questioning if anyone knows how to get off the island. Kanzuya answered, exclaiming that he has a certain plan to escape, confident in his answer as he acts arrogant. He first discussed of rescuing Katsuhisa, but their first priority should be to find a way. With the mainland being 120 kilometers away from the island, their means of transport would only be boat or helicopter. Helicopters being the easiest as its use for emergency, plus requiring a trained skilled pilot would mean the latter, as they would escape by boat. The ship that comes once a month won't be due until 3 more weeks. He then got a head count of their count, with most of them being at the high 8. The situation seems severe as it's unlikely their count will last for more than 3 more weeks, and without a doubt they are positive their counts will reach 0, and they will be shipped before then. With the sailing frequency being only once a month, and their vigilance against stowaways being strict. With the dire situation, Kanzuya has a secret plan coming into plays. He insists on finding a speedboat to escape. With this they are able to depart wherever, and it's the most viable option. Takefumi sees this plan as more normal, and he expected more from him. Although it's a realistic one, he became eager to use this plan on escaping. Although Karu exclaims of planning for a week, as such crucial escape plan need a specific date. With the plan in motion, they discussed the variables of dividing up the roles. Kanzuya took the role of figuring out how to use a boat and the route they should take. Kanzuya is in charge of finding a good location to depart from, Karu being the one to handle the necessary ingredients for food and equipments. This left Patch to be left out as he uttered the new issue of Weekly Shonen, giving Takefumi and Kanzuya a scare, becoming angry at the fact he is leisurely reading a book and not taking the situation seriously. Takefumi soon took action of finding a good route to escape and which boat to choose. As he was pondering about the plan, he managed to get hit with a big pair of marshmallows on the way. Being one side slap, he became surprised as the huge marshmallow demon is here. He gets question of being involved with Karu today, although he denies being with him today. He gets a warning for his sake that he shouldn't get too close to him, and if he ever gets involved even further, he never knows what Kanra-chan might do. Takefumi questions if it's the big marshmallow demon, pissing her off as hers are much large, which he couldn't agree more. Takefumi curiosity wonders with Kana-san if she's a very dangerous individual, although the big marshmallow woman denies her being a bad person. Although when it comes to her food or towards Karu she could get pretty dangerous. She warns Takefumi not to get involved with Kana-san. She tried rephrasing her words that they could mess with anyone but her, hinting towards herself. She questions his intentions of being near the border of the island, snugging him with marshmallows, questioning if he likes them. She ponders if he doesn't like them, to which he wholeheartedly disagrees, as no man would ever hate it, bringing all shapes and sizes, being amazing, even pointing out his dreams consisting marshmallows. He suddenly regained consciousness and apologized for talking much about the female part obsessively. He waited for a negative reaction only to be met with affection and understanding. He agreed on liking her marshmallows and would exterminate anyone who hates on her for that sole reason. She then exclaims if Takefumi is interested in seeing big ones in real life. This ultimately gave him aneurysm prison school style, squealing like a pig. She gave the option of seeing them but can't touch, or touching them but not being able to look at them. She thoroughly enjoys playing games like these. Takefumi thought of this hard, facing the greatest question that man has ever faced. She then put up a condition: if he is able to answer the question, she would let him do both. Takefumi is in disbelief, imagining the wonderful desire he has for it. She then interrogates him, questioning what he's hiding from her all along. She suggested that they might be thinking of trying to leave the island. This left Takefumi nervous, pondering how did she manage to know their secrets. He ponders of answering truthfully, although this might result in the end of their plans. He needs to avoid giving the answers somehow, although he needs to give the correct answers, resulting in him touching and holding marshmallows. His mind is troubled, not being able to decide. With 3 more seconds remaining of his time, he won't be able to get his prize. This resulted in Takefumi making up some kind of lie. But this won't do, as he won't be able to win the prize and would result being in trouble. He made up a flashback of enjoying time together with his mother, as they were the only ones left. She raised him all alone, which resulted in him doing whatever he could so that his mother doesn't have to worry about him. And truth be told, he wanted her to spoil him, resulting in his hidden desires to keep growing stronger every day. He held himself back as to not upset his mother. He thought the cravings would one day go away, forcing himself to endure until he became an adult, but in the end it never went away. His desire continues to grow. He can't even begin to tell how much he desires them. His excuse seemed to work, resulting her to be fond of him, loving that kind of personality towards him. She also questions him if he was kind of a masochist, wanting to play with him. Takefumi finds her as an angel, wanting to answer his desires. This resulted him being asked if he wants to see or touch. Takefumi couldn't believe that she is keeping her promise. He chose seeing the wonderful marshmallows, as one's sense of sight leaves more of a memory than sense of touch, although he would be glad to be given a chance to touch them in the future. Wanting the pure joy of that moment to be beyond belief, he grew fond of him, dragging him to someplace else as it would be too embarrassing to do it in public. On the back of the room of the pier, Daruko-san showed her bare marshmallows. We transition back to Kanzuya in the library, as he ponders how did he end up in this situation. He denies the request of the student council's request. She exclaims, insisting on doing so as punishment for his trespassing into a no-entry area. Her request was all along slapping her cakes. As a way to atone for his sons, the group seemingly is one by one falling victims to the demons. Kanzuya couldn't believe that she expect to spank her. Although she is assured of the punishment, he ponders if it's the other way around. She explains that if it was the other way around it would result him enjoying it. She sees this befitting for a punishment. Kanzuya is left nervous, pondering her sanity. He eagerly explains that there is no way he would enjoy spanking someone, standing his ground to not abide by her request. He proved her point. She exclaims that he shouldn't underestimate her cake, asking to spank with all he's got. She exclaims, being ready, leaving Kanzuya with no choice. Although he remembered the horror of seeing someone get spanked in the cake, what feared him the most of himself was the deep down desire to slap someone's cake, being terrified and delighted at the same time. As soon as his hands landed on her cake, the student council felt a sudden contraction, leaving her to quench. She felt her body being electrified, exclaiming that she gave out a wonderful feeling. This made Kanzuya with fear, wanting to escape the island and resist the charms of these devils, but experiencing his deep desires firsthand, he no longer has the will to go forward. At the home center, Karu is packing up materials and necessities needed for their escape. But Karu ponders if he's missing something. He suddenly remembered the embarrassing memories with Kanra-san. Although she seemingly popped out of nowhere, startling him, he gets questions on what he's up to, subtly explaining window shopping. This gave Kanra-san the idea that he is free right now. She grabbed him and dashes as fast as she could with her godly speed and strength. She leaped through the sky, jumping as high as she could, scaring Karu. Upon arriving at the store, Karu realized the missing thing he was trying to remember, and it was Kanra-san. Their date went on as she became a trap even more, wearing gothic clothes, making Kanra fell in love even more. Karu acted angry, which she teases him for having a sword larger than his size. This ultimately left Karu to be enchanted and devoured easily as Kanra-chan embraced him wholeheartedly. The two could be heard as Karu finishes leaving the other demons to look with interest. Karu is left with no choice, as they should be able to counteract their own demons. And if things go on like this, they would never escape meeting their fate. As Karu was being pampered by Kanra-san, he decided to question how powerful demons are. This made Kanra happy as she perceived he is trying to get to know her better. She exclaims of happiness, although this made Karu felt the underlying intentions hurt his heart. Kanra exclaims of have much more power than humans, and using the examples like the class president, she is way more powerful than that. She also revealed weighing more than the average human, with her weight being 129 kilograms and 197 centimeters tall. Demons' body structures are fundamentally different. Later the group gathered where Karu revealed the strength of demons being incomparable to humans. Banjo only revealed that his grip being only 200 kilograms. This left Patch to realize that all along he was sucked off by a saltwater crocodile without even knowing it. Banjo exclaims if a demon sees them escaping, they are all toast the moment they are found, as the demons could chase them in an instant. Thus this would ultimately result in them being forcefully drained one by one while preparing to escape. Before then they would reach 0 count and get shipped. They soon prioritize having a way to counter demons for their escape. Patch questions the escape plan if they needed to delay it. Banjo realized they couldn't as their count went down by a lot, and knowing this they wouldn't last for a week. Patch gets angered by this, exclaiming that his didn't drop, although the other group members became silently angry at his words. His words finally struck them, but it's revealed his count is lower than them and is near being shipped out. He gets pinched twisted where Takefumi is angered as he has the nerve to talk about something like it, which he also failed to get some sense into his head. Karu lighten up the mood as they have better chances of escaping, as compared back then they had no counteract with the demons. And this time they are prepared. If they find a better countermeasure, they would also have enough time and way to escape the island other than in a tiny boat. He pointed out if they could convince the demons to use the ship they came on, it would be more realistic possibility to stow themselves away like that. Banjo couldn't agree more, as the demon's surveillance would be uptight. Seeing its possibility, this made everyone felt a bit better, knowing their chances to escape is not slim or none anymore. Karu showed the face of a cute femboy, striking their hearts out. With this they have to avoid demons and escape before their count reaches 0. With the first thing is they have to find a way to neutralize the demons, and they need to investigate ways to avoid being found out by the demons, which they targets are the demons who are in charge of each one of them. With this in mind, they are lucky enough to be close to them to find a way. With their plans being solidified, they call it a day, awaiting for their plans to set in motion. The story starts in a town near the shore. With a population of 5,000 people, the place is abundant of natural resources and wildlife rests near the human population. It's here we are introduced to Hajime Kudayama pondering about his angel returning. From a distance, the angelic classmate named Akira Mamos is sitting across from Hajime. He is overly excited at the fact they both are classmates, seeing as they went to the same elementary school. Although a big problem arises as they have never spoken to one another before. His friend suddenly questioned his enthusiasm and grin, which he gladly answered of enjoying his youth to the fullest, filled with sweetness and sourness. In all honesty, he only had involvement with Akira on 4th grade before she moved away, although it's revealed also that she didn't spoke to his annoyance. Hajime never could have ever imagined they would meet again, pondering if it's destiny, as she totally became a hottie and could never be in her league. With this in mind, he makes the most of his unreturned feelings. We then cut short to the very person he admired confronting him about a question, with a sharp look in her eyes and a dark gaze. She pinned Hajime against a tree. Pondering about his favorite food, Hajime looks in distraught and confused, seeing as how he was just minding his own business. Hajime couldn't believe the one and only Akira is talking to him. He ponders if it's due to him doing good deeds scoring him karma points the other day. With an embarrassed look on his face, he answered while staying cool. Although he's met with silence, pondering if he gave the wrong answer. While acting calm and composed, she leans closely towards Hajime, wondering if it's really what he wanted. Under the blooming tree, Hajime gets pinned down to the ground, confessing his love for omelette rice and big fried shrimp. Akira then exclaims, liking these things about him, revealing that he's still the same as always, not changing a bit since back then. This left Hajime in shock, flinching as Akira silently walked away. Left with confusion, it's safe to say that she doesn't know how to properly express herself. As Akira got back with her friends, they demand an answer about her approach. She then breaks down in tears while twitching as she is proud to make the bold move of asking him. Her friends sees this as a huge success, praising her for her actions. As they cheered with joy, it's revealed that Akira was nervous the whole time, although she managed to follow their script for today's plan. All while Hajime was admiring Akira, she was meticulously crafting a plan in order to make Hajime notice her presence. With this she succeeded, as she was hopelessly clumsy. Back at Hajime, his friend wandered looking for him. As he approached and questioned what's wrong, Hajime was contemplating if the person he admired hates him, revealing his hopelessly oblivious thinking towards the situation. As Hajime is still in disbelief and in a panic, he still hasn't realized that little by little he was being enveloped by someone who truly cares for him. The next morning arrives with the crested ibis chirping. Hajime is seen pondering on the situation yesterday, as he was rejected by his first love. He suddenly gets interrupted as Akira stood with a cold gaze, asking Hajime to follow her to the equipment room during break time as she wanted to speak about something. This startled Hajime, agreeing to her request, although he ponders what seems to be the situation about. It's then revealed that Akira had a sketch of her plans of making Hajime heart race with physical contact. She shakes nervously upon imagining the events that's about to unfold. As break period started, Hajime headed straight to the equipment room, hoping he won't get scolded. As he opened the door, he immediately gets jumped by Akira from behind with a scary and dark look, as a loud crash could be heard. Akira is nervous as he's being held on his mouth, questioning the situation. It's then revealed that Akira messed up the situation, as upon executing the plan, this isn't what she was meant to do, as it was supposed to be an affectionate gesture. She doubles down with a scary look on her face, questioning who he is, but it's supposed to be guess who, messing up again and scaring Hajime. In the process, she became in total panic, and immediately initiate phase 2 of the plan, whispering in his ear to find out his favorite animal. But she then nervously didn't act it in the way she hoped it was. Hajime panics, questioning if she's not as she seems, asking if she's alright and feeling unwell. She grabbed onto her shoulders with concern. This gave Hajime a scare, apologizing for his actions, which left Akira to have a dark and scared face, exclaiming it wasn't on purpose. Akira hurriedly left the equipment room, leaving Hajime to ponder about his actions, as he definitely creeped her out, thus making her go out the room. But in reality, Akira couldn't seem to contain herself from the excitement and slumped down to assess the situation. Later on, as she was still trying to calm down, Hajime ponders with his friend about his problematic situation, wondering if he will ever get the chance to talk to her, and still looked at him in the eyes after what had happened in the equipment room, giving the idea that he has no idea that Akira was just nervous and flustered by his actions and closeness earlier. We are then introduced to the forest where bears emerge from hibernation, called the Asian black bear, leaving its claws. In this forest, right next to it, a slumbering grandpa is giving the impression that spring has begun as he sleeps soundly, From a distance, Hajime is rushing where he acted without thinking and called his mother about his grandfather passing away. But in hindsight he wasn't, and it's then pointed out that this is the 4th time this year he already acted this way again. Back at school, Hajime is troubled as he has a bad habit of acting before he thinks, exclaiming as he acted that way again. His friend pointed out his bad habit being like this ever since forever as far as he could remember. Due to this, his nickname from middle school was Hasty Hajime. He became oblivious to this, although he got stabbed with the reality that Mamos may heart that part of him, as he approached her trying to talk to her without thinking about her feelings and acted without thinking again and again. With the final blow being dealt, as this is the reason he couldn't go out with Mamos, his friend asks if he's okay with this circumstances. Hajime tried denying this as that possibility could not exist, which his friend is bewildered to hear this unexpected answer. He immediately exclaimed that Akira is more like a concept rather than a human. He explained that back when they were younger he sees her as a goddess who quietly watched and listened as he talked, although it seems he just babbled by himself. But this gave him the assurance it will be for sure going to be alright. But shortly after going home he is met by Akira as she held a wedding magazine while looking at Hajime with a serious gaze. This made Hajime look at her with confusion, pondering what his situation. He got startled upon seeing the marriage magazine. Akira got close, asking him to read the part where her name is mentioned. As she got closer, Hajime is scared for his life, seeing as Akira might be angry and so close towards his face. He stumbled on his words. Akira's intentions were not to scare or startle but to have the person she admired called out her name in a sweet way. Seeing as how she failed, she became embarrassed and nervous, as she also didn't make his heart skip a beat in the way she wanted to. She panicked, which gave the misunderstanding to Hajime that she wanted to give him a chance in striking up a conversation, pondering if she really doesn't hate him. With confidence he answered about the wedding dresses, but made him left with silence, giving him the idea that he probably chose a bad topic, making Akira frozen in place. But in hindsight she was really eager to make him talk to her, thus her brain panicked and shut down. This gave Akira a nostalgic feeling of familiarity, as it was like this in elementary school, where she ignored him on his talking as she did everything to talk to her. He suddenly got lost in those happy memories of his back then. He ponders what he should need to say to keep the conversation going, as this might give even more a negative impact, as he always wanted to talk with her. He exclaims of being glad on going to the same school again. Seeing as how they were in different classes in elementary school and they only got to see each other when school was over. Akira then looked shocked as she ponders of not going to the same elementary schools as he was. This made Hajime question reality, as he tried reasoning of going back home the same way. She assured Hajime that they only saw each other on the way back home. He couldn't believe her words, asking if it's a joke, as all these 4 years he was talking to her thinking they went to the same school. This left Hajime in shambles, but they soon got interrupted by a cute wild boar. Hajime, without thinking before acting, grabbed hold of Akira and started running for their life. It's indicated that when there's a baby wild boar, a much aggressive mom wild boar would be around. He suddenly noticed that he was grabbing Akira's hand. He instantly put his hand away, being troubled by his actions and not thinking before jumping the gun. We then transition back to her past, where Hajime is talking to her all the time. Even though she doesn't reply, he still babbled to himself. But in contrast, in school she always is a loner and doesn't talk much. With the scene changing from a depressing school life to a fun and not so boring life after school with Hajime, her days got better and better, where she cherished these moments, as seen where she hides her true face. Akira immediately dashes, leaving Hajime to be left behind, where he shouts his apology as she might seen him as a creep. Akira looks behind and admires Hajime. She smiled and blushes at their moment together, giving the idea that these two are hopelessly out of sync, and yet their story continues on steadily, little by little, where she plans they date and marry one another. The season changed where the school staffer picks the weeds out as spring has come to the countryside. Hajime is faced with the problem as physical fitness test day arrived. He couldn't believe what he was witnessing as Akira put up her hair showcasing her beauty, leaving Hajime to totally almost faint from her dazzling figure. Later, Hajime still couldn't move on from Akira's beauty. He also exclaims of being overjoyed at the physical fitness test as the event turned out to be a lively class. From a distance he heard Akira's name being shouted. Akira is seen as a dazzling figure being praised by her friends from behind, with her achievements being always number one every year, being at the top in academics but also in sports, but in reality she was lacking in that department, as she always places low scores on the tests, giving Akira the frustration as she didn't knew she was that weak considering she was aiming to be number one this year. Her friends comforted her, calling out that it's pretty impressive how persistent she was, although she declines as she needs to reach her goals. On the other hand, Hajime throws a ball exceeding 100 km/h, as he admired from afar. He outstandingly aces all of the tests at pro level but is unaware of his amazing talents, only seeing Akira's determination to be so cool. As he sat down, his friend couldn't believe his words, questioning why isn't he in any sports club when he's good at athletics. It's then revealed that he hates pain, and in second grade he fainted due to a dodgeball, thus resulting in him not participating in any of the events. This made him envy Akira as she is facing her weaknesses head-on, not believing that actual people like her actually exists in this world. Later on, his teacher called him up to be remeasured as the test wasn't done properly and his record box was left blank. Even though everything was put away, the teacher called out to Akira, seeing as she got the measuring for it, where he is left to ponder what is this situation is. He couldn't believe that he's getting measured by the person he likes. He stumbled on his words where Akira asks him to do the tasks at hand with a cold tone. This gesture of her is seen to be so determined. It's then revealed that she was shaking and trembling, thinking on how to execute her plans of touching him and making his heart race. Hajime asks to help him out with this. She put her fingers towards his back. Seeing as things went normal, Akira is flustered as this is the first time she has seen success, although he ponders about the weird situation. He asks Akira to push harder, but as he turned around, the two seemingly got too close to one another, almost leading to a kiss. Akira, with the immediately recoil, whips his face, leaving Hajime to ponder if he pissed her off. She then startled, turning his head around, hurting him, all while she is left dumbfounded as her heart skipped a lot of beats due to the accidental kiss they almost had earlier. Shortly after, it's as if the room fell silent due to Akira passing out, where shortly after he has grown weirdly accustomed to the results. Shortly after, salmon was introduced as it's part of a special lesson where in the countryside it's the norm. As the teachers announced the girl would be baking cookies and splitting into groups, Akira from a distance is seen so motivated and serious about this lesson, leaving her two friends to be in shock. From the start, she meticulously planned every part of the baking process. Her friends expected this kind of level, as her professionalism showed in every step of the way, doing gracefully and fast at the same time. Akira is seen as a perfectionist. Her friends asked that they should help out also as they wanted to taste their baked goods. Akira is seen embarrassed as she would give the cookies to someone whom she liked. Her friends find this reason to be so cute. They cheered her up and assures whatever she baked would be delicious. But shortly after, Hajime finds the cookies to taste terrible, leaving Akira to be in shock. They both stand there in silence as Hajime couldn't believe the horrible taste. Her friends watches from afar and it's revealed that the horrible taste was due to the reason she mixed mustard powder instead of sugar. Her friends trembled in fear as they couldn't believe she mistaked it, and slips up at the most critical part. Hajime apologized as he couldn't lie, hurting Akira, although he points out to its unique flavor, but then shortly after he couldn't breathe all of a sudden. Akira grabs hold of Hajime like she was kidnapping him and putting him in a chokehold due to her panicking. She then fully panics, splashing Hajime with a water hose. Akira's friends rushed in to help her but was stopped midway. Hajime asks for more cookies as in the end he ate most of them. Although the taste was unique, he is just happy to be given something that was made for him exclusively. Hajime was left all alone, seeing as Akira left him again, making Hajime to ponder if he messed up again and is a creep. But all along Akira was just hiding away with a flustered look on her face and distraught figure, as she couldn't believe the person she liked would go out of their way to appreciate her efforts and time in making something. She was left with a memento of a handkerchief which she treasured deeply and became deep in thought. Up in the building, her friends watches from afar and gave her the sign of approval as two more people started to think that Kageyama is actually a pretty decent guy.